We are live, I think. All my user interface here says we're live. Okay, a couple of people already here. Mr. E.L. Robbins is funny. So yes, it is not quite a $5,000. I think your optic has it listed for around 4K. It's decidedly a high-end scope, but as Mr. Cuntbucket has correctly pointed out, the Schmidt and Bender, so we're not exactly expecting it to be inexpensive. That's actually only partially true. Surprisingly, so Schmidt still sells their scopes they call the classic, and they're usually in the $1,200 to $1,600 range. And for that amount of money, they're actually pretty good deal. These are older designs, but they're still very good. But all of Schmidt's newer designs, they're all going to be expensive. Anyhow, it sounds like you guys can hear me. Mr. Cuntbucket, I see you're here, so please confirm that the sound and the video are coming through okay. I have to apologize for a relatively large gap between live streams. I kind of hit a rough patch. I was sick, then I was traveling, then I was sick again. And last time was a pretty nasty flu. So now I am kind of coming out. I'm coming out of that flu. And my voice is still a little bit scratchy, but I figured I'll give it a shot and see if I can do the whole show. There are two things I'd like to cover. One, I'd like to talk a little bit about this Schmidt scope. It's a front focal plane version of their Meta 3-18x42 configuration. I have to like quite a bit. I like the second focal plane one, but I'm a front focal plane guy, so I was pretty happy to see them introduce it. They have a couple new reticles in it. I have the simpler one in this scope, and that's what we're going to be looking at momentarily. Before we get too far with that, I was going to show you something. So I was able to drag myself out of bed and go hunting with my 12-year-old son past weekend, and he was able to shoot an Oded U. I'm going to show you a picture momentarily, and I'm moderately certain that is the first time an animal was taken with this scope. Let's see, where is it? There we go. Okay, so I am pretty excited for the little bugger. It's kind of a funny thing, so he's 12. This is his second hunt when he was a hunter. The first one was unsuccessful. Went out for elk in December, didn't see any elk. This time around, he gets control of his nerves, goes prone, lands a near perfect shot at 258 yards. The sheep, passes, is done in, I don't know, probably 15-20 seconds. And after he pulls the trigger, he looks up at me and goes, Dad, I pressed the trigger during my respiratory pause. So I have, now I do have specific information that sometimes your children do listen to you. Not a ton, but they do indeed listen to you. Okay. Let's see. What's next? So let's just start with the Schmidt. I had a brochure for it listed somewhere. There we go. Okay. Let's get a picture of the scope up, then we'll do it through the scope view through the reticle, a very quick there we go, it's a good picture. We'll go with this. And we'll do a very quick tracking test, and then we'll move on. The other thing I want to talk about today is the Vortex Ace weather meter and the relay network. I've been messing with that also. And after some early hiccups, well, me not knowing how to use it, I am slowly really warming up to it, I'll be honest with you. So here is a better picture of the scope. Let's hope it looks okay on the screen. Some reason it's blown out. The contrast is all wrong. It'll have to do. It looks fine on my screen. But so what I did with the Schmidt, I set it up on my 308 fix, the OG fix. And my plan is generally to set this rifle up a little bit lighter than I have run it in the past, so that my son can hunt with it. As configured with a bipod and everything, it's basically an 11-pound 308, which is relatively heavy, but it's a good combination for a young shooter in terms of lethality and recoil. So I pulled off the 5-25 Agent data that's been living on that rifle because I've been using it as basically a match rifle and as a trainer for matches. And I decided to go with something lighter. And also I wanted to shoot with it fairly far, so my normal default choice would be something like the Tangent 3-15x50. But that one doesn't have a ton of adjustment range, and I really wanted to be able to reach quite far with this, really, play with it well into the transonic range of the 308. And I needed something with a little bit more of an adjustment range. And then that's how this new Schmidt came about. The way the Schmidt is set up optically, it's very, very nice. It has a dual turn turret, the turret that Schmidt calls DT23. Let me see if I have a better picture. There we go. There should be a better picture. It's basically a dual turn turret, 12 milliradians per turn. So you have 12 milliradian in the first turn and then 11 milliradian in the second turn. And with this 308, it gets me pretty far out. And the nice thing is that if you set it up on some sort of a slightly sloped base, something like that, you will have the entirety of your 23 milliradian of adjustment available to you, because the total internal adjustment range is 34 milliradian, and you have 23 available once you've got everything zeroed, assuming you are on a sloped base of some sort. So that worked out quite nicely for me. Both elevation and windage turrets are locking, so I think that's a nice compromise for something to shoot matches with and potentially to hunt with. And I went and set the rifle up as is. Now that I've spent some time with the scope, I might actually go on my 6.5 PRC, but that's something to be determined later. For now, it was a very easy scope to let a kid use, and not the least reason for it was the reticle. If you have any questions, put them in the chat box. I am going to switch to the through the scope view and tell you a little bit about reticle. Reticle is called SBX-S. It is a non-tree reticle. So they, in Schmidt parlance, they have a reticle Okay, is the sound back on? Can you guys hear me? Okay. I am gonna try again because my camera that goes. Is this working or not? So the sound should be back on, but not the. Fuck me. Okay, you guys can you guys hear me? Okay. And now everything died. Okay, does this work or not? This should work. Okay, guys, am I back? I apologize. Everything died. I just had to restart. I don't know why. It's the wonder of modern electronics. Don't. Thank you, Pete. So, okay. Alrighty, so looks like a few people are still here. I do apologize. My equipment went crazy on me. Go figure. So, as I was trying to do when all of this happened, I'm gonna walk over to the scope. We'll look at the SBX-S reticle, talk a little bit about it, what I like about it, well, most things, and what I don't like about it, just a couple of little things, and even those are really quite arguable, to put it mildly. All right, so Schmidt-Bender Meta front focal plane 3 to 18 by 42. We are now on 7 power. The scope is pointing into a collimator. I'm going to move the reticle around a little bit so you can see it a little bit better against the green background. And I'm going to zoom in so that you can see it in a little bit more detail. We're now on 10, 12, 15, 18, right? So now we're looking at the very center. The way, and I'm gonna post what it all looks like with dimensions and everything. They've got it all nicely published. But the way the center looks, there's a nice floating dot, and then there are a couple of horizontal hash marks. The spacing between hash marks is 0.2 milliradian, and the hash mark itself is 0.2 milliradian long. So basically you have easy 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8 holds, and then with a vertical hash mark, you start with 1 milliradian. And past 1 milliradian in any direction, the reticle switches to being a 0.5 milliradian based design. You have another floating dot 5 milliradians away, left, right, and down. And you've got thin lines for 10 milliradians on the left and on the right, and below center. So overall, it's a fairly straightforward mil hash reticles. The numbers are every 5 milliradian, and that's maybe the only kind of minor complaint I have about this. I plan to go shoot a match or two with this scope, and for match shooting, it's better to have a few more numbers on the horizontal. But overall, it's a pretty easy reticle to not get lost in, and it does, it errs on the side of simplicity, but it does provide me with a sufficient number of holes for almost any kind of shooting that I do on a regular basis. Scott Parks, yeah, if you want to join me, I'll send you a link. Aaron is also going to join me a little bit later. So so Scott, give me a sec. Let me email you the link. Hold on. So that's actually very timely because once we're done with Schmidt, I want to talk about Vortex. And Scott knows more about this thing than I do. I think he's stuck in a hotel room somewhere, so if he wants to join me, that's always a good thing. Okay. All right, while he is trying to get that link opened and everything, I'll continue talking about the scope. So where was I? Yeah. So this reticle is kind of interesting in that it's fairly basic, but it gives me pretty decent granularity. I'm always mixed on whether I like it when the reticle switches between 0.2 milliradian base and 0.5 milliradian base. But given that it is aimed a little bit more at the long-range hunting market than pure precision, um, I think it's a reasonable compromise, as is always the case, right? With reticles, there is more than one good way of doing things, usually. So this is better than average. The reticle is illuminated, but not the whole thing, mostly just the center. So I'm gonna close, I'm gonna go to higher illumination. This is 11, this is the highest. And what they did, they basically have this floating crosshair in the center that's illuminated, plus minus 2 milliradian away from center, right? And the dots at 5 milliradian in case you need some additional references. It's not nuclear bright, but it's pretty bright. So against on higher illumination levels, against dark plate during the day, it was helpful. I closed the objective cap, but on low illumination, this is one, you can barely see anything. It probably too bright to work with night vision, but I tried it in very, very low light at night and then did not mess with my low light adaptation, which I appreciated. Schmidt generally does illumination pretty well, and I did a nice job here. I'm going to rack through the magnification so you can see what the rest of the reticle looks like. So here's 15, 12, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. Notice that the bars coming in from the sides, 5, 4, and 3, right? So now we're running out of what my camera can see. The bars coming in from the sides are very visible and tapered, and what that gives me is very good low light visibility. The center of the reticle gets a little bit thin, but it's not crazy thin. But between those thick bars and good quality illumination, this is a very, very nice reticle to use in a variety of different lighting conditions. The reticle size, to me, looks correct. 10 milliradian looks like 10 milliradian. And I am, let's see, that is 0. Let me make sure I adjust it correctly. Okay. Give me one sec. So Scott's trying to get in, and let me make sure he got the email. All right, Scott, I just sent you the email again, and I am going to. Okay. All right. Wait. All right, so the reticle sizing looks to be accurate. And now I'm going to dial 10 milliradian, mostly because it's convenient number, 12 because it's one turn. And let's see where that lands us. So this was 12, and we're exactly on 12. And we'll go back to 0. My setup here has a little bit of spring in it, but it generally comes back to 0 pretty nicely. And we are back at 0. So elevation, without exploring it in all sorts of minute detail, looks to be nicely worked out. And let's look at windage. Not that I hugely care about windage, I never adjusted, but just in case. So let's go windage. I'll just go a couple milliradian because that's all I care about. That's 2 mils. And that's exactly 2 mils. Let's do 2 more. The way the windage turret is set up, it's basically giving me plus minus 6, and you can't go more than half of the rotation. There you go. It comes back to another side and to here. Yeah, I think we're gonna call windage good. There we go. So overall, I think this is a good step in the right direction. For the longest time, Schmidt did not pay a ton of attention to reticles. Let's see. Now you should be able to see me. Yeah. So this is my kind of a weird setup here. I'm an incredibly messy person. Unless you guys want to see something, I'm going to pull the scope off and I'm going to show you what the whole thing looks like. And hopefully at this stage in the game, Scott's going to be able to log in and join us. All right, he was able to log in. And I'm back on this side of the camera. So that's what the scope looks like. For now, it's sitting in the old odd mount that I had. I've got area for 19 hunt rings coming for this scope, and I think it's going to look just right in those rings. They're nice and light, and I want to keep the weight at something reasonable. Now that I'm looking at it, I realize it's a brand new scope, and I already managed to scuff everything up, which is not super nice of me. The proportions, are sort of interesting. The front tube is very short, but it is sufficient for a nicely wide. On this odd mount, the front ring has 6 screws, and there's sufficient space for that. With all the regular rings, it's going to work just fine. The way the turret locks, it's a pop-up lock. It's not my favorite. I think the lever in the turret works better.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Sorry. I think this. Oh, there we go. I think the hotel internet is maybe not the greatest, so we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. All right. For those of you who don't know him, Mr. Scott Parks has worked for Vortex Optics for many years. We've been friends for most of those, I think.
Yeah. Well, we better make a correction though. So worked for Vortex Optics for many years.
Right.
Okay. Gotcha.
Okay. And since then, he made a graceful exit. Just I'll let him address why if you want, but the best I can tell, even since he left, I've heard nothing but good things about Vortex from him. So that's probably speaks well of the company.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, Vortex is a fantastic company that always does everything in the best interest of the company, never plays in the gray area, even when I wanted to, quite honestly. But always like legitimately takes the high road, right? Like, I mean, you know me, like I wear myself on my sleeve, I think, and it's Vortex is a great company. I mean, there's I still love them. I just, at this stage of my life, I got an offer that I would have been kicking myself if I didn't attempt it or try it, and so I did. Simple as that.
As you should, right? Yeah. So, do you want to talk at all about what you do now, or gloss over that?
Yeah. So now, the main thing that I was doing the past number of years, along with product development, but was government programs with Vortex. So I made a niche for myself within the government community, and So that's what I'm continuing to do. But now I am at the newly stood up Colt Optics, which is under the Colt CZ brand, but a total separate entity from Colt Rifles, Colt Canada, CZ, but just still under the Colt CZ or Czech Group umbrella, so to speak. We're based in Michigan. We're standing up manufacturing in Traverse City, Michigan, home office in Brighton, Michigan. I, of course, still live in Wisconsin, work remote. I'm on the road most of the time anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Where are you now? Where are you physically?
I'm actually in Connecticut right now.
Correct.
Getting the rifle side of the company spun up on our products that are about to release.
Products about to release. We should probably talk about that at some point.
Yeah.
Now I'm very curious. But so I didn't plan for Scott to be here. Thank you for joining me. I always do appreciate it. And have you had a chance to look at the front focal plane meta from Schmidt?
I have not, unfortunately. It turns out going, I'm back to where I was many years ago, working for a startup, and it takes a little bit of time of your life to where you don't necessarily get time to look through scopes as much.
Yeah, I've done a couple of those. Well, I looked at the second focal plane meta very thoroughly when it just came out. I thought it was a nice scope, but I'm fundamentally a precision guy. So I wanted to look at the front focal plane model when that was available. Something about Schmidt changed. You know how they were 20 years ago, right? They were good people and all that, but you couldn't tell them anything. This time around, they told me front focal plane was coming early. When they had some first reticle ideas, they asked me to look at them nicely and politely, which I really appreciate. So something changed in the organization. Either they're suffering and they need me, or they just adapting to the times, which is much more likely. And they want to do something that addresses the market. Okay. I did not design any of these reticles, but I had a chance to offer input, and
Interesting.
In a very unlike traditional SMB way, they were quite nice about it, which I do appreciate. And the reticle
real quick, to be fair, that's a common. Well, what you're saying is uncommon, but what you previously said, as you well know, is not just SMB. It's most European countries.
Yeah,
most companies from European countries, right?
Yeah. So I've known most of them. There would always be one guy who I'm very happy to deal with, and the rest of the organization is a bunch of snooty bastards. It's not like that with the new Schmidt, right? So the marketing guy is pretty open, pretty friendly, and also figured out if they tell me something and ask me to not talk about it until product is released, I keep my mouth shut. Yeah. Which is nice. But also, I talked to the guy who is the director of engineering, etc. Like there's several people in the line, and they're just something changed in the organization. It's different, and these are good changes.
That's good. That's fantastic to hear.
It's more than fantastic. If you look at all these, iconic German brands, like Zeiss doesn't make any optics in Germany anymore.
Right. And we'll see where they go with the new owners, right?
Oh, Zeiss changed owners?
Oh, you didn't? Yeah, Zeiss sold. They sold to
an investment
firm. Well, the announcement came about the official announcement came about 2-3 weeks ago.
Oh, I didn't. I had no idea. I was done with flu. That's not cool.
Yeah, it was. I can send you some links on the announcement. But the Polero Group bought them, which is a German investment firm. The name's not going to change. Because Polero is licensing. There's some sort of license agreement to use the Zeiss name. But I think reading between the lines and from things I've heard, it's a kind of a similar exit to Nikon. Well, except for Nikon didn't sell the name and the brand. They just kind of stopped doing sport optics. But it sounds like there's possibly pressure from shareholders to get away from guns.
Wouldn't surprise
considering where Zeiss, with Zeiss Medical and aerospace, all the stuff they do, right? Sport optics is a very small and unfortunately for the past 15 years, shrinking market for them specifically, right?
Well, they've got, they still have new stuff coming. I just got an email from Kyle that they've got something new coming, and that he asked me if I want to look at, and I probably will. But it's an OEM product, right? So we'll see. But the point I was trying to make is that many of these old, iconic German brands, I either know more or very different. And on one hand, I don't begrudge them doing business in a way that makes sense in the new world. On the other hand, I'm kind of, a little bit sad to see some of the mystique of, German-made optics get a little bit diluted.
Yeah.
Like Leica is doing things in Germany and in Portugal and doing them well, but Leica is also, I don't understand what's happening with the management structure. They have new management again. I don't know what's happening. Zeiss looks like, it's going through a transition. And Schmidt is Schmidt, right? They're doing high-end stuff.
Is Karl-Heinz Gellick still the president?
Who?
Karl-Heinz Gellick, right?
You're talking about like
of Schmidt and Bender.
Oh, Schmidt Bender. I actually don't know. I think
pretty
so.
sure it's still,
I
unless
think
it changed.
so. I didn't see any changes. But what I like about Schmidt is that they are persisting, doing what they do. Right. I don't always like all of their products. They're always high end. They're always well made. They're always well engineered. Like it's an old iconic German brand that's remaining an old iconic German brand, maybe with some new flavor, but.
Yeah, absolutely.
But the spirit of the company has not changed, which I'm pretty happy about.
Right on. Anyway, perhaps before we irritate your listeners, I don't want to you and I can get way off on a tangent, and I know that you have
that is this. Very true.
So if I try to stay focused.
Okay. I am gonna have to mute myself for a moment. Give me 1 second. All right, Scott, I'm gonna have to leave you to entertain the troops for about 3 minutes. I've got a day job thing that I need to do. That's gonna take me 2-3 minutes.
Gotcha.
So, I'm gonna shortly switch. We'll finish Schmidt in a moment. You want to talk about Ace and Relay Network a little bit?
Yeah, I can certainly talk about it.
Let's do that because we're going to talk about
what I remember from it.
All right, guys. Unfortunately, real life comes in and interferes with my plans very frequently.
So anyhow, when I was at Vortex, we were obviously working on the Relay line of products. And software in itself is, which is, the Relay line of products is predominantly a huge software project, right? Getting a number of different devices to work together. And it's a fun balance of what you're going to include in the devices as far as menu structure and how much adjustability or when it comes to what do you even label everything within the setup menu, the settings menu. So it becomes it's a long and arduous project that I do not envy the systems engineers one bit. If any guys on the podcast are double E's, good on you. You've got way more patience than I do. But I think they pulled it off. Obviously they were still working on those products when I left last year. But it'll be curious to see. I think the Ace has been shipping for 2 months now. I'll be curious to see how it's accepted, how the learning curve is, what the feedback is from the customers, especially with the learning curve. So we'll see how that goes. The Talon binoculars was is interesting that I think because they're obviously on the relay network always. Also, I think with if Vortex could go back in time, they may pick a different name for those Talon binoculars, because I've noticed everybody is associating them with like some of the older products that were called Talons within the Vortex line, which were not top tier or tier one, whatever you want to call it, level products for Vortex. And so when the Talon binoculars came out, everybody just kind of, including Ilya, assumed, that they were lower tier glass than even the Fury binos. When in reality, they're actually nicer glass than the standard Razor binos. Not quite UHD, but in between HD and UHD as far as the Vortex line goes. And I would say the only two range finding binos out there that overall optically that this is purely optically, right? Like not user interface or weight or ergonomics, just pure optics. I think the Talons fall between or not between, sorry. The only two binos out there that I would, put above them, and rightly so. And if you evaluate them, you can see that is the Swaro and the Leica rangefinders. So we'll see how those go for them. But obviously, I'm not. I got to be a little careful here. I don't want to sound like I still work for Vortex. I'm just trying to talk about the product as an end user. But they are, they're great products at a great price and a great company. You can't knock that, right? Now what I'm really excited about is some of the stuff that we'll be doing the next couple of years over here at Cold Optics. Not to switch gears, but I kind of ran out of things to say about those products without having them in my hands. Hopefully Ilya will be back here in a minute. But we've got some products that'll be launching here in like May timeframe. Some basic rifle scope configurations, and then later on this year some other electro optics. But we're just getting started. And a couple of things about Colt Optics is, it's not just a bunch of we're not. I'm trying to think of a good way to say this, but if you remember back in the day, if any of you are old enough, actually, I don't even think I was old enough really, but I'm aware of them. There were optics that had the Colt name on them, and they were just branded whatever, prism scope, red dot, something like that. Back in the day, you'd see them on carry handles here and there. That is not what Colt Optics is today. So we are very heavily from the top down kind of government orientated. We have a strict no China policy within the company. And we're, the lowest tier product we're going to be offering is kind of middle tier. So like good example, I would say would be, maybe like a notch above like PSTs, or kind of in the, NX6 type, category, or like Bino wise, maybe Viper somewhere in there but we're really focusing on high level product or top tier products, maybe tier 1, tier 1.5. It's fun. Oh, how do I think the track? That'd be a better question for the. I have not seen those, or I'm not even sure if they're out. I've kind of been out of the loop for the past 6 or 7 months. because Cold Optics is a startup, so there's a lot of groundwork to be doing right now. So I haven't been able to pay attention to the industry as close as I would like to. But I'll definitely bring that to you because I'm curious about that myself as soon as he gets back. And I always appreciate seeing your screen name pop up when I'm on the podcast. It cracks me up. So that's what we're doing at Cold Optics. I'm actually in Connecticut right now. Just happen to be, even though we're not, we're under the same umbrella, but we obviously have somewhat of a strategic partnership with the rifle side of the house, as far as
sorry about that.
Providing pairing, like say, rifles with scopes for packages and whatnot, predominantly on the government side of the house, so international government. So anyway, I was just, without having those products in hand, I said a little bit of history behind them and then went on to tell them about what Cold Optics is doing.
So, damn it, I missed the fun stuff.
Yeah, it was very high level.
All right. Something about mid to high range, like an X6 and up is what you guys are going to do.
Yep.
Right, they're going to do commercial also, or primarily just military?
Yeah. Oh, no, definitely commercial too.
Commercial. Oh, very good. Okay, so Aaron is joining us. He's not on, his camera is not on yet, so I'll add him to the video stream momentarily. Thank you for filling in the time. I do apologize. Again, it's one of those things. We make plans and then life happens. So.
I will say we actually added a couple viewers while you were gone, so maybe it worked.
Yeah, that's usually how it happens. The moment I disappear from the stream, people start dialing in. But then Aaron joins and they all leave, so I
was gonna say one just left, so
that sounds like Aaron. Anyhow, right. I see there are a couple of questions here, so let me finish with the Schmidt real fast, and we'll move on. What I was intending to do today, what you guys both missed, I had it on the collimator, so we looked at the reticle. This has the non-tree reticle. Aaron, there's a good chance I'm going to have this with me in Montana. That same match that Scott's been avoiding now for 2 years in a row.
So did they
Scott, I can get you in. I can get you. It's sold out, but I know how to get you in. So
right on. We'll see. What month is that?
First weekend of August. I still need a teammate.
July 30th.
If you want something's going to try your patient, team up with me.
Right. I might try your patience. Let's see here. I'm actually seeing it.
If you want to see a fat Russian dude try to be sneaky and go bayonet a target at 900 yards, come to the match.
Yeah.
I don't know if I can shoot it. I can stab it.
I want you just to show up with an AK and try and shoot it at, just use the AK straight up.
Yeah, I'm not much of an AK guy. I have a few, but I'm not an AK guy. But I might bring this thing with me because the scope is relatively light, relatively compact, absolutely excellent optically, and actually has a good amount of available adjustment range. It's that 23 milliradian double turn turret. Mm-hmm. And the scope is kind of a typical Schmidt. There are no obvious weaknesses. Everything is optimized well. Everything is done well. It tracks. That's a cute dog. Everything tracks. Everything works. It's just a nicely done scope. So kudos to Schmidt. This is still the US version with the throttled field of view. Although, interestingly, one of the things that happens when you add a field stop, your eye box in the scope gets better. So there's kind of a compromise.
Perceived eye box gets better. The
no, it's not perceived. It's very real.
Well, yeah, that's true. I guess linearly it would actually because it's
correct.
Right?
Yeah, linearly, right? If you think of it in 3 dimensions, eye box does get a little better.
Yeah, but as far as left, right, up, down goes,
very marginally. So what it does is that your performance as you get close to the edge, there is a more gradual disappearing. It's less of an abrupt cut.
Yeah, I know. I taught you that.
No, you didn't. You think that?
I'm pretty sure Scott taught you everything you know, including Russian.
Hey, if you ask Scott, yeah, he'll tell you that. Yeah.
Scott's so fluent, he doesn't speak it anymore. Like, that's how it is.
Pretty much.
I did it so well, it came right back to English.
Exactly.
Well, I taught you some English, I remember, but
Yeah.
You
You would think English is not my first language. That's for sure.
I've seen you write. You're not bad. I've seen worse.
Yeah, he saw my writing.
I was thinking about saying that, but chose against it.
Hey, I won't sugarcoat it. I lost my hearing as a little kid and had to relearn how to talk. So it's my writing and grammar is not good.
Yeah. Well, I went to Florida public school, so top that.
I went to California public school.
Yeah, at least they fund their schools there.
Says who? I was in the classroom in the first ever shooting in a classroom in America where somebody actually died. That was in my class.
Yeah, doesn't mean they don't have good teachers.
He was aiming for the teacher. He just wasn't a good shot.
The FBI defines a mass school shooting of 4 or more fatalities, so you didn't even qualify.
Yeah, no, it was 1.5. 1 dead, 1 wounded. So
I took 2 years of German, got straight A's, and could never do anything other than say Sprechen Sie Deutsch and count to 10.
I know more German than that. But,
anyways, does that 318 Schmidt have a diffraction graded reticle in it like the?
I don't think
do
it
they
does.
have that reticle selection? That reticle.
Is that the one that had a shot show?
Pardon me?
Is that the one that had a shot show?
Yeah, that's the one that had a shot show. So I already have it. That's the one that was on a gun that my son used to shoot a sheep on Saturday, which was very cool. His first game hunt. And I am quite pleased with the scope. It's not for everyone. It's going to be, but I think on your optic website, I'm seeing it around $4,000, which is not a huge amount of money for a Schmidt, but it's still a lot of money, and it's not always easy to justify something in that price range. But again, the way Schmidt does these things, there are no obvious weaknesses for me to complain about. Right. And which is one of the things that I really expect on the high end. I want these things to be well-rounded. So,
I mean, I personally think they should not worry about that patent and just send the freaking wider field of view scopes over here.
Yeah, they should, but they can't because they are, kind of a little bit straight-laced, and also because Swaro will sue them into oblivion just out of spite.
Yeah, true.
So it's the whole Euro thing, like Swarovski kind of pushes people around over there, which does not make me particularly happy.
Is it the new 3-18 meta? Is that what it is?
Correct. Yeah. And the one I have is with a simpler reticle without a trick called SBX-S.
$4,064 on Euro.
For $4,000, yeah. So it's it's going to go up against the 30mm tube tangent. It's going to compete against the 4-20 Zico. It's going to be interesting. It is very, very competitive. So there's no question it's a well-optimized scope. And as far as crossover use, if you want to use for hunting and precision and stuff, the reticle is going to be helpful the way they did the reticle. So it's a good scope.
What's the thickness of the reticle? About 0.04 MRAD or?
So the way they did this is I actually don't remember. I had to restart my computer. I killed all my diagrams. I think the center dot is 0.05, something like that. So the lines are in that general range, but they made these thick tapered bars from the sides. So on low light, the reticle visibility is very good and it is quite quick. And illumination is just a floating 4x4 milliradian cross in the center. So again, it's bright enough where, against a dark target on a sunny day, it'll help. And on low power, it's very low. So on low settings, so it's not going to mess with your night adaptation. Again, just nicely worked out.
Hey, Ilya, real quick,
Sure.
Our favorite named listener, Cunt Bucket.
Mm-hmm.
I would die laughing if that actually sounds out to something totally different.
No, I think
what
that
his
And
mom named,
we've always just read it as cunt bucket.
it's what his mom named him. It's on his birth certificate.
so. Talking about the tracked question.
No, the cult question, right?
No, the track question. Yeah,
the track
I'm curious. Yeah. And I told him I haven't had time to see the. I don't even know if those are out. Are they out?
Not yet. In May.
Oh, okay.
That's like we're waiting for Ilya to get all of the binos from all the companies so that we can
I
have
actually got commissioned by a gun magazine to do an article on LRF binoculars, and the specific 3 they asked me to mention are, well, to look at and talk about are tracked, Leupold, and Apex, which are kind of like, because so Apex uses AB for the ballistic engine. Leupold is partnered with Hornady and they're using the Fordov.
Yep.
And Tract is using Eagle ballistics. And I'm very curious how it's all going to pan out. So the one from
you
Apex,
throw the Vortex in on that review as well.
I am going to get the Vortex first. I'm probably not going to have it in that review. I'm going to talk about that one separately. Because several reasons, but the biggest is this relay network that Scott talked about a little bit. Well, I had to log off for a moment.
Good. Scott convinced me to buy it.
Pardon me?
I said after you're done, Scott can convince me just to go buy them.
I mean, I think there's one of the things I said when I was telling you is, one, I think there's a possibility that in hindsight that Vortex might name the Talons different, because I said even Ilya thought, because Vortex has used the name Talon in the past, that a lower tier product. Ilya was surprised when I told him that they actually optically are between the Razor and the Razor UHD binos.
I looked at them at the Western Hunting Expo, and because you're inside, it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
But they, from the very little I could play with them, are definitely better than the Razors, like 100%. Yeah. So I believe it when they say they're optically right in the middle there.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. I mean, I hope you believe me. I'm telling you my honest opinion.
I believe you, Scott, for sure.
Don't believe anybody that reflective on top of the head.
But
I mean, Scott gets on every pair sold, so I gotta believe him.
Yeah, right. I wish. I wish. No, I think the only two rangefinder binos I can think of off the top of my head. I mean, within say sub $4,000 or sub $5,000 that I can think of that are that you can tell are better overall optically, and was talking purely optically here, not ergonomics, not weight, not whatever. Is the Swaro ELs, the Swaro range, EL range, and the Leica the Leica rangefinder binos. Those are really, like, if money was no object, I think those are the only two I would, for optics purely, would choose over the Talons.
I don't disagree.
Doesn't mean there's not something else out there I'm not thinking of. But the normal players that are discussed in the circles we run in, Ilya, that would be my assessment.
I've only looked at the Talons briefly, so hard for me to say for sure, but I'm supposed to get the 12 power Talon relatively soon, and I'll be able to offer a better opinion. Going back to Tract, so there's Tract, Apex, and Leupold. Tract and Apex look like they're made at the same OEM, and Scott knows who that OEM is, and they make a nice binocular. Leupold looks to be a different OEM. I think Tract is about $2,000. Leupold, I think, was closer to 3.5, something like that. And Apex,
I think they're shooting for 33,
something like that. And Leupold, I think, is 37 or something like that.
Leupold was like stupid expensive, like over $4,000.
They all looked pretty good, and the big question is going to be which one of them, if any, or if more than one, is going to nail the user interface correctly. That's basically, I think, what it comes down to. Apex is going to do well with competition guys because a lot of them want to be plugged into AB solver, and I don't blame them. But on the other hand, I run AB and geoballistics side by side all the time. It gives me the same solution once I set everything up. So as far as user interface goes, all of them are moderately awful, well, because it's hard, and geoballistics is easier for me to use than AB. I will go with that. But even geoballistics drove me nuts. A couple of days ago, I was driving Scott nuts, trying to figure out how to make a range card in the Ace, right? And it turned out I couldn't get it because I fundamentally misunderstood the idea behind how they're doing it, right? So we'll talk about that in a moment. I, with Scott's help, finally figured it out, but it's different. I think in Vortex, this is geoballistics is yet another method of doing this. But with Vortex, I really want to talk about the relay network. Tracked is likely to do quite well simply because it's going to be offering more or less the same functionality and all that for $2,000, and I assume that the solver is going to work just fine. I'm not familiar with the ballistics.
We just lose your audio, Ilya?
Yeah, we lost your audio.
Well, while he figures that out, Scott, guessing you had previous work on the new Vortex system that they're working on?
The relay network?
What?
The relay network? Or?
Yeah, the relay network.
Oh, God, yeah. That's a long, huge project, man.
Right.
It's a lot of software engineering.
So I am right on the edge of just going in and forsaking applied ballistics and just going into the Vortex ecosystem 100%, just because of the warranty and the ecosystem they're building, the ability to share. I used geoballistics before Vortex purchased them, and before I bought a Kestrel. I changed from geoballistics to applied ballistics when I bought my Kestrel a few years ago. So I'm trying to convince myself, like, do I wait till Ilya gets a pair and we compare them, or do I just dive right into it?
Well, so I mean, I don't think anything Ilya says is going to change your mind. It's a good product, and if you're familiar with geoballistics already, it makes it that much easier. The biggest reason that we made the decision at Vortex when I was there to do what we did as far as buy geoballistics and create this network is simply because tying products together from multiple different companies is an absolute nightmare.
Yes, it is.
On the software side.
I do that for a day job, and I understand.
And with Vortex's just general overall way of doing business with a priority of taking care of your customer no matter what.
Okay, can you guys hear me now?
You got a humming sound in the background.
Sounds like you sound like an AM radio.
Hey, that's all he had in Russia growing up. Okay.
I'm not getting.
Hey, it's gone. Oh, it's back.
Yeah, I think everything was gone though.
No.
Yeah.
You'd stop ordering your streaming equipment from Temu, maybe.
We need Ilya to do some Temu optic reviews.
Yeah, is this better now?
No, you're very, very faint.
The fuzzing's gone, but you sound like 20 miles away.
Yeah, how about now?
Buzzing's back.
You sound hollow, but the buzzing's back.
Sure.
I think you're right, Scott. I don't think I just need to stop being indecisive. I just need to pull the trigger. Especially
aren't you a Vortex dealer also?
No, I am not a Vortex dealer. They won't allow me to be a Vortex dealer because there's Sportsman's Warehouse is close by, Al Sporting Goods is close by, and there's another one.
Yeah.
But that being said, I have a Euro Optics dealer account, so it's basically like being a Vortex dude.
Right.
So at that price point, it's like a no-brainer because I can pick up both the binos and the Ace for a ridiculous price. And so I've just been kind of humming and hawing a little bit. I was just waiting for Ilya to get a pair, but I think I've made my decision, and I'll probably buy the set within the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I'm guessing Cunt Bucket's talking about my puppy. Ilya, you don't have a puppy, do you?
No.
Okay.
For what?
Earlier, Aaron had
yeah, my dog walked in earlier, and she was sniffing the microphone.
Gotcha. I didn't know if he was talking about maybe the last podcast where my dog was up.
I'll have to see if I can get her to come down.
But I'm in a hotel room, so I can't do that.
All right,
I don't have my dog here.
back. I don't know if there's anything I can do about the buzzing. Something with, I have this Black Magic switch box here that crapped out on me earlier, and I'm thinking it's on its last slide.
Yeah.
You sound okay, Ilya. So it's you might turn the volume up just a hair if you can on the mic, but like the buzzing's not terrible.
Yeah.
And I would take that you sound okay as in if I was describing a female to you as she has a nice personality.
Everybody's a fucking comedian.
Scott with the brutal truth. I mean, at least he's legible. Like you can actually understand what he's saying.
So some days are better than others.
I was gonna say, what are you talking about? I can hardly understand what you're saying every day, even when it's clear.
You need to dunk that Black Magic box in some vodka, and maybe it'll start working again.
I don't have any. I don't drink vodka. I don't have any in the house.
You don't keep it.
How about now? Is this louder?
That's way worse.
That's way
Please
worse.
Stop.
How about now?
We can't hear.
No, you just turned everything down. When you turn it up, it's loud buzz and loud voice, and you turn it down.
Can you Bluetooth your microphone straight to your computer and bypass the Black Magic box?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of doing.
Okay. Well, while you do that, Scott and I are going to sell more Vortex to the people subscribed. So.
Well, I'm not. I'm just speaking honest end user truth with insider knowledge also, I guess.
So I was comparing a pair of Vector binoculars to the pair of Leicas that Ilya loaned me last year for a couple months. And while we were out comparing them, I noticed something really interesting with the Vectronics, because I've been shooting a lot of 22. So like looking at 100 yards and then being able to look back at the targets within like 100 yards. I found at the bottom of the bino of the Vector X's, at least the pair I had, got fuzzy. Like it went fuzzy. So like you could see like 25 yards fuzzy, 50, 75, and 100 were clear. But as you got into the bottom edge of the glass, it was completely fuzzy. And we were comparing them against the Leicas, and the Leicas are just like, they just look beautiful.
Sure. Now, I mean, you're sure you weren't like picking up? It wasn't a depth of field thing where the bottom of the field of view was catching 7 yards away.
No, we were looking out over a flat, and there was nothing obstructing in close or anything.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it blew the guy away because he hadn't noticed it until we put the Leicas on the tripod.
Now, there would be no reason why it would only be on the bottom edge, though.
Well, it's like the bottom third. The bottom.
No, I mean, if your prism is slightly off, misaligned, you can have.
I guess. I guess.
But there's still like.
But was it both barrels? That's it. These are things you learn to do.
I didn't. That's actually a really good point. I didn't cover up a barrel and look if it was just one barrel. I'll text him and ask him
because
he still has them.
If it's a prism alignment issue or anything like that, it's not going to be both barrels.
Okay, I'll ask him. I'll ask him if it's both barrels. He might be coming to Montana with us, Ilya, so he'll bring him. Cool. We'll have him there. So
yeah.
He's trying.
Now that being said,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, in my experience in the samples that I've looked at, the Leicas are a nicer bino.
They're beautiful. They're so beautiful.
The Vectors. I mean, the Leica and the Swaros are kind of neck and neck. I think if I had to blind evaluate the Leica rangefinder binos and the Swarovski rangefinder binos, if I had to do it 10 times, I'd probably pick the Swaros 5 times and the Leicas 5 times.
Yeah,
just for slightly different reasons. But
the Rocky Mountain Swaro rep lives just down the street from me, and we had the brand new pairs out, and it's so hard to tell with the naked eye. Like, it's just so difficult. It's a lot of, and again, you'd have to do like a really blind test because it's so subjective. But they're very, very close.
Right, Ilya, are you back on, Ilya?
I think so. I hope
Yeah,
so.
you sound.
You
sound great.
Much better.
Yeah, now it's just switch to the AirPods.
Okay.
Yeah. So we got a question there. If you want to post it, I'm curious. I'm trying to think if there are any off the top of my head.
How about edged reticles?
Yeah.
So the only one I can think of right offhand is an old Steiner 10x50 Poro. It has a laser rangefinder and it has an edged reticle and the barrel. It's a configuration I like, and it is a nice binocular, but it has an old style laser rangefinder module, so it does not do inclination, doesn't do angle, which for me is kind of a deal breaker. Aside from that, the only one I can think of is Victronics, and I don't think we're going to see a ton of those because with everybody getting these better screens in their binos, I think we're going to start seeing electronic reticles.
So the Apex.
Well, you already do.
The Apex is coming with one. Does the Talon have one in it? I don't remember.
Yeah, the Talon you can change reticles in.
Yeah, you can. Does it give you? Sorry,
they all have AMOLEDs in them.
Does it give it? Sorry, the Apex has a mill reticle that you can turn on and off, like the Swaro spotting scope. Does the Talon have that in it? I don't remember. I played with one for.
You can choose a mill reticle unless they changed it since I left.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I played with it at the.
So it doesn't matter who offers it and who doesn't. Now that we have displays that have enough resolution for it, it's just a matter of firmware change.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
If the market wants it, everybody's going to offer it.
Yeah,
yeah. The market is going to want it. So
probably. So I started talking about tracked. And again, I think they'll do well simply because they're $2,000 versus everybody else being quite a bit more money.
Yeah.
But also, it's a nice binocular optically. And with some of the competition guys, using Eagle ballistics is going to hold them back a little bit. But with hunting guys, I don't think they care that much. So
well, there's not a lot of competitors that use tracked optics. I mean, there are.
They would like to have more, right? The catch is that, look, so for an RL hunter, a binocular with a laser rangefinder is pretty much a necessity, right? So I think they will find quite a few people who will just be much happier spending $2,000 than $4,000. So Leica is also going to have a much more feature-rich display, probably toward the end of the year, their matrix display in the binocular. But Leica is already 3600, so it's probably going to be even more with the displays. So there's going to be several good options in the 4K, right? But
the other thing
there for 2K.
The other thing that's going to cause a price increase in any type of releases for the next 6 months is the blanket tariffs, right? That's hitting the pocketbooks for every manufacturer, right?
Pretty much, yes. Right. So in the 2K range, we're going to have the tracked, and for how much are the Talons, Scott? I'm trying to remember. They are
I'm actually, I want to say 27. That's why I was looking up to see if it changed.
So,
let's see here, the Midway has them for 2,300.
Okay, that's a 10 power model.
Is that the 10? It's not. Why is it not labeled very well? What in the heck? Yes, that is the 10, and then the 12 is 2,500.
There we go. So my interest with the Talons is primarily the 12, although they're quite heavy and all that. But for competition use, I'm really curious to see how I'm going to do with just a little bit more magnification.
So here, just real quick, also on Midway right now, you can do the Vortex, their code Vortex
for 12% or something like that.
No, 15%.
15%. Oh, very cool.
Yeah, so you're talking that's $700 off. So that'd be $1,600.
No.
Wait, no, that's not. Jesus,
American,
never mind. I just did 30.
I
just did. Why did I just do? I just did 20. I did. Never mind.
Yeah, you just opened yourself up for that. And I'm just,
Okay,
I'm having a moral dilemma here.
About
on the other hand,
it
would the ridicule is deserved. On the other hand, it's just too easy.
Man, I was about to cry because EuroOptic changed my price.
11 p.m. It's 11 p.m. here.
That's okay.
Right. Right. I've been up since 4.
So,
math is actually something I'm typically somewhat decent at.
Yeah. All right. Let's quickly look at the comments, and then I want to talk a little bit about the weather, the Vortex Ace.
Were you going to talk about the AMG on this one too, or no?
Probably not. I don't have it with me. I did one live stream on that, and I'm gonna do another one as I do the wrap up. I will go on the record. I think as far as battle sight optics go, the AMG is the best rifle scope on the market today.
Interesting. That's a heck of an.
It's not the best LPVO out there. There's always the Schmidt DOCC and a few others, right? But much longer and all sort of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I don't know there's a whole lot better out there as far as 1X goes on LVPO.
This has the largest exit pupil on 1X that I've seen on the low power variable. So yeah, it is stupid fast on target.
Right. With it, without even taking into consideration the fact that it's only 8.5 inches long.
Correct.
It's one of the best.
Well, being 8.5 inches long also really helps with the perspective shift, right? The shorter the scope, the less perspective shift you have when you're going on 1X. So, which also helps. But look, the scope is tiny. Some of the optical performance and intermediate magnifications was compromised. It's not bad, but you can see the deterioration.
Oh, yeah.
It's really good on 1, and it's really good on 8. It's decent on 10, decent on other ones, like between 6 and 8 is quite good, which is where I use them a lot. But what really defines the AMG is that how stupid fast this thing is on 1 power. Yeah. Just ridiculous. Okay.
And I can, and I'll tell you, let me, at least it'll be out there. I see, obviously, that I feel like the number one comment I see on the 1 to 10 is, well, first, people referencing the price of $6,200. Like, well, it's MSRP. If you've been around for 2 minutes, the MSRP price on the Vortex website means absolutely nothing, right?
Correct.
The real street price is sub $4,000, right? Or at most 4,000.
It's about 3.5 usually, which is still a lot of money.
Yeah, and I can tell you, it's going at that price. It's and this is even really can't even be contested. It's as factual as it gets. It is the lowest profit margin product Vortex has.
I believe it. This thing has got to be hideously hard to make.
Well, not only that, it's everything, it's made in the USA, right? It's just more expensive to make when you do it here. It is what it is.
Tolerance, I don't need to tell you how tight the tolerances are. We've had many of these discussions. Before the AMG development started, Scott had a full head of hair, just so that you know.
Yeah. At the very least, it
was that checks out for sure.
Yeah. Well, just any short focal length system in general has caused the hair loss and gray, quite honestly. And you got to help with some of that diagnosing and figuring out things, at least through the test equipment. So
yeah. Yeah. Well, you see, here's the funny thing, right? So I signed the NDAs, but I still can't talk about that.
Yep.
But you're no longer at Vortex. You can.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm obviously I can't go into super detail just out of respect, but that's pretty high level. I don't think that's an issue.
Yeah. So there are complexities with short optics, and they are significant. And one of the things that has to be understood, when you look at the world of rifle scopes, the whole category of ultra short, high-end designs is pretty freaking new.
Yes.
Schmidt did the 5 to 20, which is a very different beast. Ultra short designs that also go down to 1. It's basically Vortex and March.
Well, and primary arms now.
Correct. So primary arms now, though it's not quite that short, but it's short.
I was talking about the 1.5 to 12 being at 9.9 inches.
Well, 1 to 8 is shorter.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And arguably not arguably, a harder scope. Really.
It is a harder scope. Yeah. And they did a very, very good job with it. But every extra quarter inch of length there is a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
So a scope like the AMG is hard, and you don't know when you go through a design and then trying to build a system like that. The catch is there are so many things that can bite you in the ass. You just don't know which one is going to finish you off.
Oh, it's whack-a-mole.
It's like swimming through a moat with 6 different types of crocodiles, and you just don't know which type is going to bite you in the ass.
Yeah. It's well, I mean, optical design in general is always the land of compromise, no matter how you do it, right? I mean, it's very much so. I mean, life is this way with most things, but in optics, it's exponential. I feel like, and it's if you gain something in one area, you lost in another. There's no getting around it. It just matter. It's just how well can you try to correct in those areas you lost in and make up for it.
It's a balancing. It's a balancing act. You're trying to set up your compromises where the typical user will not be able to see them. That's
exactly, 100%.
Anyhow, looking through the comments, Mr. Conbucket about Colt. We'll see what Colt adds to the mix. I'm curious too. We do have a huge optics market, but one of the things to keep in mind is that there is a significant number of people in the optics market doing Me Too products. So what I'm always looking at is who is just relabeling something, who is working with OEMs to do something a little bit different, who is doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I think me. If I'm not without saying too much, I think I can say this is I wouldn't come to work for a company that's just relabeling stuff.
Yeah, exactly, right. And to be fair, if they're delivering value to the consumer, there's nothing wrong with it, right? For example, a really good example of a company that does kind of a fusion thing really well is Element Optics. Because technically they're doing OEM products, but they did their own turret.
Right.
They're doing a little bit more with the electronics. They're doing a little bit more in Sweden. So they're kind of going about this the right way.
Well, very similar to Vortex early on, and to an extent, a good portion of Vortex right now. Right.
Correct. Yeah. So it's right path, but they're doing it the right way. One of my favorite companies.
Are you going to get one of their new LFRFs?
Maybe I need to think about it a little bit. So I'm sufficiently preoccupied where I have to limit what I bring in for review so that I don't sit on something forever and not releasing it. I was hoping to go to EVA, I didn't. The family issues and stuff. So come probably April, I need to decide what I'm booked until April. Toward the end of April, I'll talk to them and see what else I have time for.
That's perfect. Have them put one on the prize table.
Yeah. Real quick.
Yes, sir.
Just I don't know if you heard earlier when you were gone when I was talking to the computer screen by myself. So we are in the midst, and it was even it was in progress before I got to Cold Optics. Standing up manufacturing in the U.S. in Traverse City, Michigan, and then our home office is in Brighton, Michigan.
Correct.
And so our goals are very optimistic, but assembled in the U.S. and made in the U.S. in pretty short time frame. So I'm curious to see how that goes.
I'm curious too. So
on some product. Now I can't tell you what those products are.
Correct. When the timing is correct, let me know.
Yeah.
Despite my general distaste for Michigan, I'll come visit.
Yeah. Well, and I will go visit there with you.
There you go.
Going to Michigan.
Okay. They are doing things in Michigan.
I'm going to Michigan on Monday.
Who did you piss off?
You live in Ohio, though, right?
No, I live in Utah.
Oh, you're in Utah. I thought you were in Ohio for some reason. What was I thinking?
No.
Oh,
Going
you're
going to Ohio. Going to Ohio in June, but no.
I'm gonna say Aaron's in, or who's in Ohio?
Area 419.
Area 419.
Well, I know that. I mean, 419 is the area code.
They get funny if you say 419.
I call it 419. I call it all the time. But
okay, with that out of the way, one of the things I do want to talk about before Scott falls asleep on us is this thing. I haven't got my talons yet, but I got the Ace. I'm primarily putting this close to the camera so that Aaron would drool.
I actually played with one the other day.
So Aaron loves the Kestrel. He can't live without the Kestrel.
Here's my
check out what Ace can do for me. See, like one screen that gives me weather, wind, temperature.
You know what? The first question I asked the Vortex rep at the hunting expo, does it have snake? And you know what he told me? Yes, and it's in color.
It does.
No, that's how I know you're the product of the public school system. Yes, snake.
A product of the public schools. Oh, come on. What else do you ask a freaking rep? Like, how does this work? No, does it have snake, right? That at least tells you know what the device is about.
Okay, that's fair.
By the way, that Ace is made in the U.S. too.
Yeah, I saw that. That's actually pretty cool. Ace does several things. So I'm sort of on the record. I despise Kestrel. I think that user interface is not designed for humans. So for me, I bought this Kestrel, paired it with different stuff, and it has built-in AB and all that. And I ended up only using it for one thing only, to check density altitude, and I use it for nothing else because I think it's useless. Now, I'm clearly exaggerating. A bunch of precision shooters do amazing things with it. I just don't have the patience to deal with that crap.
Well, here's the thing: you have to give credit where credit's due, right? Kestrel paved the way; they were the first.
Absolutely.
I mean, without Kestrel, without AB, without Leupold, without all these companies, right, that have done things in the past, and continue to do them. They're the one, they did it for, they did things first and gave everybody these ideas, right? And the consumers asking for new things. People have ideas, companies have good ideas, and they take their shot and they put a product out there. And if it works, it works. But, not everybody hits a home run with every product.
Look, and Kestrel clearly works. It just didn't work for me.
We'll see what Kestrel does in the next 12 months. It'll be interesting.
I'm sure they'll do something. This is going to be a kick in the pants for them.
But, and like everyone's complaining that it's bigger than a Kestrel, but like it's not even half the size of my phone. I don't get the whole internet whining about. Oh, it's
internet's always whining. Okay, that's what the internet does.
But like, your smartphone is twice the size of it. Stop whining.
Right. But what really pissed me off about Kestrel was how inconsistent the communication was. I would have it talk to my binoculars, to this, to that, and it's always a pain in the ass. And it has 6 different communication modes.
Or if you accidentally update it, it wipes everything on it.
And then there's that and all that.
Or resets all your settings.
When I was thinking about what I want out of this, let me admit I wanted a couple of things. I'm a simple man. I don't need to be giving it too many solutions and all that. I want all my different environmentals, weather, wind, all that sort of stuff on one screen. I have exactly that here. And another thing that I really like the idea of is putting together a range card as I go. And that's something that drove me nuts. Scott helped me with that a couple of days ago. Now that I messed with it, so I don't have the Talon yet, but the Impact 4000 also does this relay network communication. So I got everything hooked up and connected, And for the last several days, all I've been doing is turning this stuff off, then turning it on, etc. In terms of the communication, it's fucking magic. I turn it on the screen of the Ace. It immediately tells me that a second device connected. I don't have to have my phone on, nothing like that. That's it. I just turned it on. Now it's connected, and it stays connected.
Yeah, yeah. Once you have it paired, it's just like
it's
iPod.
It's bulletproof. It's amazing.
Yeah,
what's the distance?
It's Bluetooth, so
15 feet.
Oh no,
probably much more.
It's more like 7,500 yards. It's pretty.
Well, it's line of
crazy.
sight, probably. Yeah. Bluetooth,
so
Bluetooth can actually reach.
That's actually. I mean, it depends on what you're doing with Bluetooth and how much power you're giving it. Because it's very interesting, right? Because one of the reasons I thought about picking up the system is, one, it's decently affordable. Two, my brother-in-law uses geoballistics as well. We both have Kestrels, but like, it'd be really nice to be able to use like, say I take his pair of binoculars and I use his, and it talks to him, at the sniper match over there, right? Because you can't talk to each other on some of the stages and stuff where you're too far away. So it'd be really nice, as long as like to see the distance you can get between the devices and have them communicate. So that's really good to know. I mean, that's something I'm going to play with. I'm already done. I was going to wait for different binos, but I'm going to go buy the Vortex ones as soon as the Vortex sale is over, because it screwed up the pricing on Euro Optics. Should have bought them yesterday.
The way it's doing range. So what I want to do, let's say, I shoot NRL Hunter matches. I want to be able to get on a stage, find my plates with a bino. When I find a plate, record the distance, make a range card, and have it show up on this nice screen for me without having to write anything down, etc. And I finally figured out how to do it with the impact, and it's probably going to be easier with the bino. But the way Vortex did this, which for some reason makes total sense, it didn't occur to me, is you basically create a range card, and all the devices on the relay network, they will just synchronize the same range card between them. So it's not like I laze with the impact and record it on here. I just create a range card on the laser rangefinder, and it magically appears in the Ace, and the screen is big enough and bright enough where I don't need to be rewriting anything down. It's just there, and if I turn on the wind, it will keep the distances it got from laser rangefinder and update them for me in real time with the wind.
Scott, do you know if you can push the data from the Ace to one of those
eDope cards?
Yes, to the eDope card. Sweet, because you can. I know you can push it from the Geoballistics app. So.
Yeah, no, you can do it right from the Ace.
That's freaking awesome, because then
put it on your.
It's a lot. It's a lot easier to put it on your rifle than the whole Ace, right?
Yep.
My brother.
How I'm gonna hold it, how I'm gonna set it up on a tripod or something, I don't yet know. I'll figure it out. There is no quarter 20 like that, unfortunately.
No, there was. Yeah, there originally was a whole wind vane package that was going to come with it. I don't know. I think we inevitably decided. I think it'll happen at some point.
So some sort of cradle, something that holds it.
Yeah.
Eventually.
I'll make you one of these, Ilya.
Oh, there we go. Perfect. I would appreciate that.
So this holds the Kestrel, and then it attaches to.
Yeah, I have one for the Kestrel now. I'll need one for the Ace. But I'm telling you guys, all the perfect. Yeah.
It attaches to one of these. So this goes on the leg of your tripod, Scott, and it's Arca. So you just take your holster and you Arca it together, and then if you compete a lot, you never have a place to put your bipod, so the bipod will slide on this.
Yeah, nice. That's handy.
Yeah,
you should.
Yeah, you know what? I just need to order an Ace anyways because I need to make one. So.
Oh, there you go. There's a good reason. All different quirks of the user interface you get used to quickly. I had a few. Scott again was kind of the target for my anger. I got over it in about 20 minutes. I finally got used to it. Now it makes sense. I got it set up the way I wanted because the screen is color and bigger. All the information I need is here. I know exactly what profile is loaded at all times. I know how many devices are connected to it at all times. The buttons kind of rubbery. I don't have the best feel. For the first 5 minutes, I was cursing. Then I got used to them. So I'm navigating this thing without any issues. But again, like the thing that I'm just absolutely flabbergasted about is the reliability of the connection. Seriously, it's compared to everything else in our market, this is just magic.
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons for that, right? And I'll touch on it because I think it's good for people to hear. One is that was the goal from the get-go. We weren't going to settle for anything less, right? We all have, ear pods and whatnot. So the something that you heard during the whole project was, and one of the main kind of quotes that we followed, or mission values, whatever you want to call it, was this thing has to be Apple easy when it comes to connection. Right. So, and obviously what I mean by that is once you pair it, it just always pairs. It always connects. You turn it on, whatever.
Well, I will say this. I have AirPods that don't always connect most of the time. So far, this has been better than the AirPods in that regard.
Yeah, I can tell you I've never had an issue with anything on the Relay network connecting once I paired it, right? During development, there were a couple glitches where if you were messing with a device and went through, I can't even remember exactly what it was, but it had been paired with something else, and then you needed to pair it with a different device. You had to do it a certain way, but I think we ended up fixing that to where that ended up not even being an issue on the production products. But the big thing here is and you kind of mentioned that, touched on it earlier, so I won't. Is when you're, and we talked about this when you were offline, Ilya, is the biggest reason that Vortex bought GeoBallistics was to have everything under their control, right? Because we went down the road of using products from other companies, and while they're great companies, when you have the mindset of customer experience the way Vortex does, and in my opinion, the way any good company should be these days, you need to have control over all the products that your customers are buying. If not, you cannot satisfy your customer the way you want to, right? So if you're pairing to a product that is not yours and there's an issue and it's out of your control, how do you take care of the customer, right? And so inevitably, we brought it on house, and like, since Aaron's a software guy, right? And Ilya, you know enough to be dangerous on the software side.
I'm just naturally dangerous on anything.
Getting multiple products to talk together that all had different application engineers doing the coding is quite honestly just a recipe for disaster sooner or later, right? It's just not, they're not going to cooperate very well with each other in certain aspects. Or by the time they do, it's time for a new product, right? Like, I mean, it's going to take 5-6 years to get all the bugs worked out. And then you think you have all the bugs worked out, and every time you do an update,
there's going to be a new bug.
There's a new bug. Exactly, right?
So that was always very interesting for me with, I think you and I talked about at some point, Scott, with Victronics, right? Allegedly they work with a million different things, and I'm looking at it like, how?
Right.
Because that's really tricky to do. And, trying to work with 6 devices from 6 different companies is really non-trivial.
Right. That's inevitably what Vortex ended up with, is the Relay network, right? So now you have these products that you know about, likely more coming down the pipe that are all on their own brain, essentially, right? Their own network. and it's ingenious, and they're and Vortex is a big enough company to be able to do that these days, right? Because it's no small endeavor. I mean, I can tell you that that relay network was many years in development. I can, without getting into fine details.
Well, I'm very curious. One of the things that was interesting in that on the Ace, the weather vane here, it slides off.
Mm-hmm.
So clearly, there's more stuff coming. It's going to be mounted. Okay, I'm very curious about that.
I hope one of those is a ultrasonic wind meter.
Yeah, wouldn't surprise me too much.
Yeah. Well,
I tried to bully it out of the sales rep, and he wouldn't tell me.
Yeah, like obviously, I'm not gonna, and there's a good chance the sales rep. I mean,
probably didn't know.
He probably didn't know, right? The only time only time any good development group is going to tell their salespeople about stuff is when it's at the very earliest, is when they're 100% sure the product is actually going to come to market, right?
Yeah. And we try not to tell our salespeople anything.
and ideally, about at the most a month or two before it actually launches.
Scott, you probably won't surprise you. You might even know which companies. There's at least 2 or 3 companies I can think of. I would routinely get a frantic call from one of the sales guys saying, "Yeah, we've got this product. It just released. I've never heard about this. I have no idea what it is. What do you know?"
and that's
more than once, more than one company.
Yeah. Now your salespeople should absolutely know about it if it released. That's
yeah. So it's the dynamics between the development people and salespeople in many companies is kind of interesting.
Well, I think the one thing that I think a lot of companies miss out on, and I don't know why, and maybe it's just because they haven't learned it yet or whatever, but like it or not, marketing needs to be involved with development from a very, very early stage.
That's what we're telling our marketing team, man. Our marketing team is terrible. They're good at making it look pretty, but not doing anything else.
Right. Well, I mean, they need to be involved early because, you need to be thinking about packaging, right? Because marketing's typically, your graphics department falls under marketing department, right? So, they need to be involved from the get-go so they can get it on their schedule, right? And there's a lot of work to be done on the marketing side of things as far as pictures, pictures, catalogs, website, box design, what comes in the box, market research for making sure that I'm missing something. Like that's all marketing responsibility, right? And if you're not letting marketing know up until a few months or even half a year, most times even a year before it launches, that's too late. So you're gonna miss.
I will play devil's advocate here a little bit, and just point out that again, with too many optics companies I know, marketing people have no idea what the company does. They bring these people from other industries. They don't train them, or they don't want to be trained, or they think marketing is marketing and all that. Like it or not, this is kind of a special business.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to do this if you don't do this outside of work.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
In a way. I think so. Yeah, for marketing, absolutely. I think for a lot of different positions, it's not necessary.
No, but for marketing, you kind of have to.
Yeah. For probably what everybody else is thinking marketing is, right? To me, there's a lot of sub departments that fall under the marketing umbrella that I just kind of mentioned, right?
Correct. Yeah. If you're drawing graphics,
photos,
you don't have to.
Boxing,
that's
in,
a little different.
Accessories, these types of things.
So
I also throw market research under marketing, like that.
The
a lot of people don't get that.
That you want to be involved in product development, they need to be enthusiasts.
Yeah.
Okay. That's kind of the thing. All right.
Guntote in Minnesota made a comment. What do you say? The lack of
communication. The lack of communication in major brands was a surprise to me. And
I think he means internally, right?
Correct.
I would presume. Yeah.
Communication's just hard. no matter what.
Yeah, I'll tell you it is. I have my theories within the gun industry of why that's true, and I won't air that because it kind of falls under what your parents told you when you grew up. You don't have something nice to say, don't say it at all.
Okay, if I followed that rule, I'd never get to say anything.
Right. Yeah, I will say to Gun Totin' Minnesota, I agree with you. And unfortunately, there are only very few brands that do it well in the gun industry. And to high level, and grant this is all just my opinion. And in my few decades in the industry, the problem within most companies in this industry is really it centers around ego, quite honestly. It really just centers around ego, and the lack of understanding from leadership with a lot of firearms industry companies.
Yeah.
None that I work for, thank goodness. I think all the ones where I'm are the exception. But the lack of communication within a company, especially in this industry, because I think typically very conservative in how they do things, typically very paranoid about, and I think ego and paranoia is where the lack of communication comes from within a lot of firearms industry companies, quite honestly.
Yeah, I believe it.
The combination of ego, paranoia together.
I'll buy it. On the other hand, for the consumer, all of that is not a bad thing. All lots of confusion in the industry results in products going on the fire sales. So. It's always a question I ask, right? So earlier on, Mr. Cunt Bucket mentioned that it's good to have cold join the market, and I agree. But on the other hand, the market is also very saturated. A lot of companies out there. I always wonder how many of them are still going to be here a year or two from now.
Oh, especially these particular next 2 years with the state of the industry.
How much shift are you seeing, Ilya, to the Philippines and to Vietnam for optic manufacturing?
A lot of people want to do it and they're trying, but it's very hard because of how good some of the Chinese OEMs are.
Athlon moved 50-50. Athlon moved their whole production except for their 1-inch scopes. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, kind of.
So I don't know what to make out of it, right? I went and talked to Athlon, and they're saying they moved everything, to Japan and Philippines, and they showed me a scope, same exact scope as what they're making in China. And the line is, we just took the design and now it's just made in Japan. Having crossed paths with Japanese OEMs a time or two, I'm finding it somewhat unlikely that they'll just take an existing design that was made by a Chinese OEM and go and make it in Japan.
What did the price change?
It's unclear. It seems to have a little bit.
I'm not as familiar with their pricing as I used to be.
Yeah.
The turret design changed a little bit. The zero stop design changed a little bit. Some of the cosmetic pieces changed a little bit.
Well, cosmetics are a little bit different, so I don't know what to make out of this. But, I believe Athlon is a big enough company where they have the resources to do this. But I also know that in plenty of situations you can go assemble objective, erector, and eyepiece separately in China, take them to Japan, slap them together, and say it's made in Japan. I'm not saying that's what they're doing. I have no idea.
I did talk to Trent, right? Yeah. Trent's the VP, and
I know Trent well.
And that's what he told me. So that's all I can go off of.
Yeah, it's so I don't know. I don't know what to make out of this. I'm happy to see some movement. Vietnam does not have any OEMs capable of doing rifle scopes right now. They've got a couple of warehouses where they claim they make thermals, and that's exactly what they do. They bring thermals from China, assemble them in a box, and ship them out, claim they're assembled in Vietnam. The Philippines obviously has, two OEMs, Asia Optical and Kenko, who are capable of doing very nice stuff if they're so inclined, and they're being pushed by the Chinese OEMs and getting better, every time. What's the latest and greatest from Philippines? So the Viper HD 5-25 is very nice. So that's Philippines, right, Scott? 5-25 by 50, the new one. I think it's very nice. Burris XTR3, XTR-PS, also Philippines, also clear step up. So the Philippine manufacturers in principle have the technical know-how to fill in a lot of slack. I don't know if they have the bandwidth. Like, they're pretty big, not that big.
Yeah.
So,
just an interesting, shift.
What do you think, Scott?
I'll reserve comment on all that.
Well, so let's
too much insider information.
Yeah, so let me phrase the question differently, right? If you are an mid-size optics company, and you say, "Screw this, all this tariff business kicking my ass. It's unpredictable. I don't want to do it. I'm gonna take all my production and move it all to the Philippines." How easy is it for the Filipino OEMs to scale up the volume to support all of that? If like 5 companies go and jump ship, do they have the bandwidth?
No.
That's
no,
what
not Chinese number bandwidth. No.
Correct.
No.
So I don't think there's a ton of choice for most people. Japanese OEMs also don't have that much bandwidth already.
And not only that, and let's not gloss this over. Not only that, but the ability to put out the quality that some of these Chinese factories are these days, which is seriously impressive.
Look, that
and
factory.
I know listeners don't want to hear that, but it is what it is, and China is.
So look, that OEM that's making the Telson Target Master and Delta Javelin, they're the ones who used to make the Athlon RS ETR, and they do a couple other things. I think one of the versions of Strike Eagle had made their Scott, I think. I mean, it's really impressive.
It's very impressive.
Like, I've seen a lot of scopes from that OEM. They are legit.
And very durable. Next to 0 failure rate as far as, it's, they're built like, quite honestly, some of them, if you spec it, they have no problem building them very similar to old school mil spec Night Forces. And like you literally can't repair them. You can't take them apart.
Yeah, everything is good. That's how March builds theirs. Like the reason March
is
able
this is a
to
Chinese factory, and Chinese scope, Chinese price, and you're still getting that.
Well, these are not cheap Chinese scopes. These are scopes that usually market prices in the $1,200 or so dollar range, but it's very good build quality.
Yes.
Doing that in the Philippines would be hard, and doing that in the Philippines at volume at the moment is probably impossible.
I would probably agree. Yeah.
It's CapEx investment. It's training of the employees. It's a little bit of everything.
That's the big one. The training of the employees.
It can be done given time, right? And they probably will. They can make good stuff there.
Yeah. There's a very different labor mindset in the Philippines than there is in China also.
That's probably true. You'd know better. Thailand can do optics like Nikon cameras have been made in Thailand for quite a long time. So there is something of a labor force there. But I've seen the whole. I've seen some old Nikon scopes made in Thailand, probably same factory, but I don't think I've seen any other rifle scopes out of Thailand.
I'm not familiar with any rifle scopes out of Thailand these days.
I've seen some, but it's been a little while. So the interesting part is this new factory in Taiwan that's behind Leapers and Tegrix.
Mm-hmm.
So that, and there, I don't know what kind of volumes they can do, but the products look pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some diversification from China, but in practical terms, I just don't see it happening in the next decade. How long did it take? How many years did it take China to really come up to speed and move up the quality ladder? A decade or so?
I don't know how long. I don't know that I could tell you how long overall. I would say in the past 10 years, it has been significant.
Correct.
But so as everybody, right? I would say 10 years ago, China was much farther behind everybody else than they are now, though, right?
Well, right now they're not really behind.
They're not really behind, yeah.
Yeah. So from Gunto to Minnesota, the Chinese OEMs are trying to solve their competition problem among each other. Okay. Interesting conversation I've been a part of. I wouldn't be shocked to hear Chinese OEMs coming this year. Yeah. So yeah, no, the Chinese OEMs still want to compete. We will see new ones. For example, the OEM behind Arkin and DNT is in a completely different part of China where traditionally they were just doing airsoft scopes. They invested, they moved up, they're doing pretty decent work. Yeah, there is intensified competition even within China. And the way our whole tariff system works, I have no idea how it's all going to settle down.
Right.
So, Chinese OEMs combining this year. Chinese OEMs combining is always complicated because they have different quote-unquote OEMs that control different factories, and which factories they control shifts around. So you can't tell heads or tails of what's what.
Yeah, it is very difficult to follow the structure, for sure. Should we get back on the topic of the Ace? I don't think we saw a squirrel, and then.
Well, I mean, I more or less said what I wanted to say because I think the things that for me were the showstoppers with the catchall, the Ace absolutely fixes. Right? One is a non-ambiguous screen, right? With the catchall, like it shows me something, and I'd never know. Did it synchronize to the right profile, to the right this? Is it talking to the LRF? Is it not talking to the LRF? Is it what? Right? The screen of the Ace gives me all the information I need. It's non-ambiguous. I always know what I'm looking at. And the relay network fixes the communication I'm telling you, in just a downright impressive way. Not only do I know what profile I'm looking at, what data I'm looking at, what's what, and I get all of that in a snapshot, I also have clear evidence that it's always communicating between devices as necessary.
Here's one of my favorite features of the Ace, or one kind of favorite little things one of the guys there figured out on the application side is, we all know what truing for elevation is, right? Mm-hmm. Well, if you haven't found it yet, there's actually on and I forget exactly where how to do it right now because it's been a while since I've messed with one. But there's actually a wind truing feature.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So essentially, what you do is you just go in and enter what your hold actually was after you shot, and then it basically just and then it tells you what mile per hour you should be holding for the rest of your targets. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, wind truing. Update wind 1 based on your last shot. There we go. Yep. Very cool. That's actually very cool.
So you hold what the solution was you gave it, right? Mm-hmm. And then what it actually was on target, and now you use that for your range card.
Yeah. That is But anyhow, I think Vortex will do quite well with this. I looked at a couple of reviews online. One guy was saying that it's too big. Another guy couldn't figure out the buttons. And he just loved the buttons in the Kestrel. So, look, it's to each his own. I don't criticize.
Oh yeah,
it's. I've used the Kestrel for 10 years, and the buttons on the Ace feel different.
Yeah. Look, I've spent a lot of time pressing buttons on the Kestrel. I never got what I wanted out of doing it, but they press nicely. Yeah. No, look, there's going to be an adjustment. But the relay network, the communication, I think.
Yeah, if they can get an ultrasonic wind meter which they probably will, into the network, it will be amazing.
Probably.
That was the only thing that was swaying me kind of towards the Apex is it will sync. Quantum will sync with that, but again, it's not going to be near as seamless as this.
It's look, I have multiple AB devices. I've had more than one occasion where communication bit me or lack of it bit me in the ass.
And like you said, that's always different companies'
different
products.
Companies do
it's just always going to be a thing.
Yeah. On the other hand, given what it is, it works nicely, and AB solution is usually good, and I think AB is a very viable ecosystem. My plan is to run them in parallel, right? So my Leica Binance uses AB. I'm probably going to get the AB Calypso at some point, the ultrasonic wind meter.
I'm waiting for the new one to come out.
Pardon me?
There's one that's supposed to have atmospherics coming.
Well,
I haven't seen it yet.
I'm not in immediate rush, right? So as far as weather goes, my next push for the next few matches is going to be to try to get it worked out with geoballistics, with the Ace and Talon 12-power binocular. I want to do that for a little bit, and once I've got that worked out, I'm going to switch to others. Come summer, I'm going to be doing an overview on the laser range finding binoculars. I want to look at Apex, Tracked, and Leupold, and I'm doing a print media article for it, and we'll see. But as I do that, I'm going to have to work with different ecosystems, right? So I'm going to play more with the AB, the new iterations of it. I'm going to mess with Eagle Ballistics and see what else it's talking to. I don't think they have anything there other than just the tracked binocular and the app. I'm not sure if they talk to any other peripherals. I'll find out. And I really want to see what Leupold with Hornady are going to do again. Are they talking to any other peripherals, or is it just the Fordov solver built into the binocular talking to the app? I really don't know how it's going to pan out. But by late summer, I should have significant hands-on time with all of these. We'll see.
Just bring them all to Montana. We can just sit there and have a good old time.
If I have them at that time, I'll bring them. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, before we wrap up for today, I've been at it for a bit over 2 hours now. And I'm on the verge of weight loss here, so I need to go eat something. Scott over there is losing weight like crazy, so I have to compensate for that. And he's gonna get skinny. I'm gonna have to get fatter.
I mean, Scott's hydrating. I'm just surprised.
All the balance of the universe is gonna be off.
I'm the lightest I've been in probably many years. I'm just barely over 250 right now, like 252.
I'm heavier than that by a good margin. I lost a bunch of weight, and then my dad ended up in the hospital. I gained all of it back. I stress feed. But when I was in Vegas for SHOT Show, Smith & Wesson did an event at the local shooting range, and one of the strongman guys, Nick Best, was there. So Nick Best and I managed to squeeze into one shooting booth in an indoor range. So we got real close to each other. It's a funny thing. So I'm used to seeing him next to the really big strongman like Brian Shaw. He always looks puny.
Right.
And then when I actually stand next to him going, damn, that's a huge dude.
Oh, yeah. Well, Brian Shaw makes...
I've met Brian Shaw. We're not the same species.
Like midgets.
That dude is so big.
Brian Shaw was lean 430, okay?
Yeah.
So that's just ridiculous. Like, for those of you who don't know, Scott is big and a former bodybuilder and all that sort of stuff. But I'm telling you, having seen the really, really big people, Scott, you're a shrimp.
Oh, yeah. Compared to those guys, absolutely.
Yeah. Anything else we need to know about Relay Network or Vortex Ace you can think of?
Yeah, I don't know. I think when you were dealing with your work stuff, I kind of touched on. I'll be interested to see, what the feedback is in a year from now or so. The other, benefit of Vortex bringing that all in house, and this would go for any company that brings anything all in house when it comes to software, is now you have control over very easy over there updates also, right?
That's
so
very true.
any type of software updates, whether it's with the binos, the rangefinder, Ace, whatever possible future products there are, it's a nice, easy software update that the end user can do over the air via Bluetooth. Yeah. So, but yeah, I'll be curious to see how it's received, and part of it's selfish because, obviously I was involved with some of the, at least some of the development of these products for years. So it'll be interesting.
Okay. Lastly, a brief competition update. So I always kind of mention which matches I'm going to shoot where I'm going. If you guys watching this see me at the match, please come introduce yourself. Next match is going to be Buffalo Bill Revenge, a Hunter match in Laramie, Wyoming. And then I'm going to shoot a match in Gladstone, Virginia, first weekend of May. My original plan was in June to go to Wyoming for the Burris Optics Team Challenge. Really like that match. Unfortunately, they moved it. It's 1 week later than the last couple of years. So now it's smack on my wife's birthday. So I'm gonna stay home.
Well, it wouldn't be the first time you missed her birthday, though. I know you've been on the road for her birthday before.
No, I've
just
been
not just my birthday.
But not voluntarily.
So I've never been on the road for her birthday.
Really?
Yep. Okay. I've flown her out to where I am on her birthday.
Okay. So I feel like I feel like I've been with you. Maybe it was on your guys' anniversary or something.
It was on one of the anniversaries, yes.
Okay.
But we have many different anniversaries, right? There's more than one.
Huh? Been married more than once?
Yep. We've been married twice. We married each other twice.
Ah.
Hey, I have a friend who's been married to his wife twice, and now they live together. Not married.
You guys never separated before you just.
No. We just had one wedding in America and one wedding in Israel.
Oh, boo.
Gotcha.
And they were like 5 months apart. But we celebrate everything. We met on a blind date. We also celebrate that. So
Aaron, you have to remember, the reason I knew that there was, a simple explanation of what he was talking about, because in his family / also family, religion, family dynamic, if he wouldn't be alive if there was a divorce involved. And certainly a second marriage.
Yeah, I forget because he was talking to me about doing his son's bar mitzvah in America and one in Israel.
Yeah, that'll be true. Yeah.
It makes perfect sense why he's been married twice. So once here, once over there. So that's all good. But I do have a friend who got married to his wife, has been divorced, remarried, and they are living together unmarried currently.
I was going to say when's the new separation date?
So, no, it's she keeps asking him, when are you going to marry me a third time? He's like, nope.
Wait a second. They've been married and divorced
twice.
Oh.
And they're living together still. So it's pretty cool. They've been together since they were 17 or something. And, it was like, your business is more important. He's like, have it all. And he walked away. He's like, easiest divorce I ever had. Signed the paper, gave her everything, walked away. And when she came back and was like, will you run the company you just gave me? He's like, sure, for a salary. So he's a cool dude. He's I can tell you who it is offline, but he's very involved in the PRS. He's an older gentleman. Give the shirt off his back. Cool dude. But
very cool.
But yeah, it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, but either way, so I was not able to convince my wife to come to the middle of nowhere, Wyoming, on her birthday. So I'm not.
Does she not understand the Buffalo Bill Museum is not too far away?
No, for my own safety, I decided to not push that.
Is it in Cody?
No. It's in Douglas, Wyoming. It makes Cody look like a metropolis.
I guess not. I mean, it's the same state. It's close enough that you could go to the Buffalo Bill Museum if you wanted.
Buffalo Bill Museum's cool. Just gonna say,
it really is.
I'm sure it is.
Have you never been there yet?
Nope.
Oh, you have to go. Let me tell
I'll
you.
go eventually.
I will tell you this.
Mhm.
If you fancy yourself a gun guy and you think you've seen a good majority of the guns that have ever been made, go to Buffalo Bill Museum and you will feel like a newbie, because you will see hundreds of guns that you had no idea even existed or were ever made.
The funny thing, I've never been to that part of Wyoming.
You're not missing a whole lot. You can go see Gunworks though. Gunworks facility is really nice. Really
look, when you fly into Bozeman after the match, you can drive to Cody through Yellowstone and go check it out, and then drive. It's I don't know, from Bozeman it's probably 7 or 8 hours. But
look, so I might drive back from Bozeman. There are other reasons for it, but here's a catch: this match in Montana is a week before my son's bar mitzvah, so I better make it home without it being too late.
You're gonna drive up. If you do, let me know.
It depends. So I shot a deer in Montana last year. So if the mount is ready, I might fly there and then drive back.
I can always bring it home and ship it to you if you want.
Well, it's not near Bozeman. It's on the other side of Montana.
Well, on the other side of Montana.
Yeah.
Well, if you're going to go that far out on your way back down, you can hit Cody, Wyoming.
Possibly. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see. If the mount is ready, I might do it. But anyhow, with all that, we're going to wrap up for today. I had a nice plan for how this live stream was going to go. And then all my audio video stuff started crapping out. If it wasn't for Scott joining and saving my bacon, it would get really gnarly.
We just added 4 listeners in the past 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can't leave yet. They came for you.
Not necessarily.
Make that 5. Oh, 5.
All right, make it 5. All right.
5.
For whoever just joined, we talked about the new Schmidt & Bender front focal plane Meta 318x42, which is wonderful. And we talked quite extensively about the Vortex Ace and the Vortex Relay Network, which I think is very underappreciated and is going to change how we use electronics in this business. If you are late to the party, if there's anything you'd like us to go over, we'll stick around for a little bit longer.
Man, another person just joined. That's crazy.
I don't know. Must be West Coast, something like that.
Maybe people actually enjoyed listening to us and they're telling their people
to
hop on or something. I don't know.
I probably wouldn't go quite that far.
Yeah, I know.
Most of this has been a stream of unconsciousness.
I was being facetious.
So we were talking about matches, yeah. So and then there is the match in Montana that Aaron keeps bringing up, called the TRT Sniper Challenge. It's going to be interesting. That one has 20 stages, 2-day sniper match. We are in March. The whole thing already sold out. Aaron and I are going to RO the match, which means what we're going to get there on Thursday. We're going to shoot 20 stages on Friday.
That's going to be psychotic.
It's going to be interesting. And then we're going to RO on Saturday and Sunday. Last year, the TRT... Go ahead.
TRT, so it's the testosterone replacement therapy match?
Thornton Ranch Training Center is what it stands for.
No, it's definitely testosterone replacement therapy.
I mean, with the people that are going to be there, it's 100% that.
Oh, they're all my age?
They're all former operators. Marine recon and different branches and things.
So am I going to be the only person there not on TRT or something?
Yeah, you're the only one. You got to get on that.
No, it's okay. Like I don't think I have the right personality to have this steroid range.
Well, first off,
I'm just
that's not even close to true.
Of course not. Right? I just thought it was funny. Okay.
And secondly, it might have something to do with that few extra inches you carry around your waistline.
Oh, I don't doubt that it has something to do with it.
And I mean, why don't you? I think you know a doctor too. When's the
I
last
do know with you. I'm just not willing to do it. So.
Interesting.
I don't know. It had positive benefits for me.
Especially with how often you get sick. You do get sick often.
All the time.
And I'd be willing to bet that testosterone's magical, man. If you need it, if your body truly needs it, it changes your life.
Yeah.
Mine was in the absolute.
I won't get it on mine, but it was not good. Very many years ago.
Mine was like 286, like really bad.
Mine was magnitudes lower.
Wow. Yeah, for reals.
At 29 years old.
You know what? I think I started at 32. I think I started. No, like 30. I'm 36 now, so like 34, 35, I think.
Well, I'm gonna hit 50 this year. Somebody else I know is also gonna hit 50 this year. Yep. We'll see what happens. If I can't get my basic problem, if I can't get the rest of my lifestyle under control, nothing else helps. And if I can get it under control, then I'll think about it. So see, we started talking about testosterone replacement, and people started leaving.
Yeah, kind of. It's also magical for women, believe it or not. That's
that I've heard. That's kind of interesting.
It is. I'll tell you that the two biggest things that help, that are life changers for women our age, that's very well studied now. Mm-hmm. One more so than the other, but is creatine and testosterone. So
creatine I started, well, I'm not a woman, but creatine I started taking more of because I exercise quite a lot, and I have major muscle cramp issues, and creatine really helps with that.
There's some interesting studies coming out in the use of creatine in really young teenagers, like preteens and teenagers, and it is extremely good for the body.
Anybody and everybody, and not to mention brain fog.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because your brain uses ATP and everything, turns out also, right? So,
then you get to play with all the other peptides, Ilya. It's all sorts of fun.
Yeah. Let's stick with the approved drugs that have lots of human studies behind them.
One thing at a time. For right now, I'm just trying to force myself to go to sleep at a semi-regular time.
I will say this, Ilya. This is the first time. I wouldn't call them uncomfortable, but it's the first time we haven't had a listener try to do some digging for insider knowledge from my aspect. That has no questions on that this time.
Well, at least that's good.
Well, the night's not over yet.
Right.
Yeah. It is wrapping up.
I will say it's the first time I've seen you wear anything related to Caltech.
Oh, no, I have a couple of T-shirts, and I occasionally wear them. So my choice of clothing is relatively straightforward. There's a big pile of T-shirts, and I take the one that's on top.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it.
I would tell your wife to to strategically place the right one on top. I'm going to send you a bunch of funny graphic T-shirts that just goes on top every time.
Well, I have a few of those. I have one that my kids really get a kick out of. For some reason, it mortifies all of their friends. I don't know why. I have one that says, "My stomach is flat except the L is silent." For some reason, teenagers find that mortifying. I don't know why.
That is funny.
I've worn that one to a match. But, I think that was that same match where I was training for Chip and Dale's where my pants ripped.
Oh yeah. Oh man.
Oh Lord.
Always a good time.
Yeah, never better. So, Mr. Aaron, other than the Talon, what optic would you like me to get my hands on and review thoroughly?
I'd like you to send me your AMG, the new AMG. I just want you to put it in a box and ship it to me. other optics to get your hands on?
Mm-hmm. What outer interests you?
I am looking for the best red dot under nods. That's what I'm looking for currently.
What would be your criteria for best red dot under nods?
Something that actually works. This
what's that mean?
This does not work.
What is that?
It's a holosun.
Yeah, holosun doesn't work.
I want to be able to actually see, like, and use it.
So does it? What do you mean by it doesn't work?
So when you put this up under my nods, you can't see through the glass. You can't see through the coatings.
The coating, sure.
Yeah, you can't see through the coatings.
Yeah.
So.
But now,
other
are you running image intensifier binos or image intensifier mono with, like, what are you running for night vision?
I have some EBIT
Elbit systems.
Binoculars. I'd have to go look, and I'd have to go find the box. I'm not sure. I don't remember what the specs are, but they're.
Because typically, most people don't notice that. That's why I was wondering. If you're running binos, you typically notice it if you're running a monocular, right? Because you got both eyes open, you still see the dot, right? And you still see through the sight. It's just blocked somewhat, right, because of the coating.
Yeah, and I'm brand new to the nod, so I'm still playing with it a little bit. But
gotcha.
Definitely playing with it. They're a step underneath of PVS 31s, so they're a nice set. Like, they're an extremely nice set, white phosphorus. But they are civilian tubes, not they're EBIT.
Not ELBIT.
Yeah, ELB. Yeah, that one, and because they're not L3 tubes. So
right, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't call them civilian tubes. They're just
Elbit.
not L3.
Lots of military organizations use Elbit tubes.
Yeah. Elbit is a big defense contractor. They're not.
I think it said specifically on it that they were civilian tubes, or I don't know, but.
Well, maybe they're 1600 FOM or less. That way, they're not ITAR, or they're kind of
But the question of coatings is interesting. I haven't looked at it too much. I know aim points work pretty nicely under nods. Anybody who sells stuff.
I'd actually have to find I'd have to find the paper that came with it because I don't think it says anything on these.
Where'd you get them from?
I got them from Killer. I got them from Killer Tactical. He specializes in just sets.
They are. I have a Photonis monocular. I used it with Metrolite. It worked well. I used it with Vortex UH1. It worked well. No issues. Trying to think what else I tried it with.
So is it killerdefense.com? Must be.
Who's looking?
Okay, I found the box.
So was it killerdefense.com? Is that the name of the company you got it from?
Yeah, yep, Killer Defense. No, this is the actual test document of the tubes.
What's the FOM?
What does it say in the document?
So Lumosas is 2495. Radiant dot 83 is 276.
It's a Gen 3 tube.
There's another paper. Kind of hard to see.
Yeah, that's the tube.
Yeah, this is the tube. There's one small defect in the left one.
Oh, they all have defects.
Right, they all do, but yeah, there's just one. There was another paper that actually had.
But anyhow, so Scott, what red dots that you know have coatings that are nicely compatible with night vision?
No, they all block a certain wavelength,
Correct.
right? I mean that's what they're supposed to do. Just whether or not I have to go back and see if I can find some notes I did when looking at that. Because it was interesting. It all, if I remember correctly, and this obviously makes sense. I just can't remember what it was. If I could find the specs on the LED that they were using, what exact wavelength it was, that would a lot of times would dictate the coating, even it was optimized. And there was I can't remember, and maybe you can answer this off the top of your head, Ilya, but where'd he go?
I don't know, he disappeared.
I'll be right back. I don't think you want to see me blow my nose, right?
Oh, gotcha. But I can't remember if it was if you were let me think here. Yeah, if you were using a higher wavelength, the worse it was.
That's generally correct. So
there's the link. I just dropped it in the chat if you wanted to look at the link.
Okay. I see it. So generally the way the coatings work, these are basically notch reflectors. So they need to reflect one wavelength and try to transmit most other stuff. But what usually happens is that in the near infrared, where most of your nodes work, yeah, those are nice Gen 3 tubes. It's a nice binocular.
Yeah, the little bit I've played with them, they're really nice. I stumbled across a real PEC 15, so I picked that up to go with them.
Cool. I was to say, yeah, so coatings. And what happens is that in the near infrared, where most of your image intensifiers work, they start blocking more and more and more, and it just varies from the manufacturer to manufacturer. Usually, whatever is designed to reflect in a higher wavelength will also have some issues in the near infrared. I don't think there is a hard rule there. Just have to talk to the manufacturer. Whoever does these for the military usually pays attention to high wavelength transmission, like aimpoint, for example, generally work pretty well, etc. And beyond that, it's on a case-by-case basis.
Easy enough.
Yeah, so I see they do call those XLSH tubes commercial grade. That's interesting. And that, well, actually, I know why they're doing that now that I think about it. That's for make the DDTC happy.
But it's been fun. I'm just, just beginning to play around with it. This is the Ops Core Fast Bump, the new one. It's been really, it's super light. Like, doesn't feel like you're wearing a helmet at all. So
yeah. I need to get.
All right.
I only have an actual ballistic helmet, and you definitely can tell you're wearing a helmet.
Yeah,
I have some sort of simple bump helmet somewhere, but I played with it 2 years ago. Then I put it away, and I haven't pulled it out since.
Yeah, I actually have not to underplay it, but my main helmet that my 31s are on is the Ops Core Rail Link.
That doesn't tell me. I don't know anything about helmets.
It's power. Basically, it's a powered rail. Long story short.
All right, that's cool.
But does a number of things. Interesting.
So, Aaron, what else, optically speaking? Because it's not an idle question. I'm busy with a couple of reviews, and then I'm going to be trying to figure out what I do the rest of the year.
I mean, one of the projects I'm working on is I'm playing around with height configurations, with trying to get the PEC to work with LPVO and all of that type of stuff. And I sent you some pictures of a mount that's being worked on. That's pretty interesting.
You're talking about Craig's mount?
Yeah, Craig's mount. So
yeah, he showed the prototype when he was visiting with me.
They shortened them and they lightened them a little bit. So I think it will pair awesome with that. With the
when you say Craig's mount, you talking about 419?
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they're what do they call that mounting system? They have a name for it.
For like the red dot system is the task.
Yes.
So that gives you the ability to have your laser and your optic on one rail. So you can reduce the flexion from the handguard, the deviation of points or whatever they call it. But then their new suppressor is coming soon. That's gonna
that I'm very curious about.
They told me a date where I can get the anchor brake, their new anchor brake, which will go on the Gen 1 that they have. So I'm gonna hopefully I will not be a savage this year. I will bring well, actually, because it's the 7 PRC, I might shoot a brake this year unless I can get one of their new cans. Their new cans are Magnum rated, so if I can get one of their new cans before the shoot, I'm going to bring it to the match. So
civilized people shoot with cans. I gotta say, last
when
year,
you can shoot a 12-pound 7 PRC one-handed and there's no recoil, gotta be a savage.
A friend of mine is preparing to go to Africa. A couple of days ago, we were shooting his 300 PRC. That's with the scope and everything, weighs 8.5 pounds.
You know what you could also do, Aaron? Is just learn how to drive a gun.
How about you come?
I know how to drive I do know how to drive a gun, but I also like to cheat. So, like
Scott, you have to come to the match and show.
This is pay to win, buddy. Like we can drive the gun, but when the muzzle brake makes it even easier to drive the gun.
So, my first question should have been: is why are you shooting a 7 PRC? Is this match like in the mountains with some hellacious winds?
Because the sniper team that went and shot the nasty was supposed to show up and bring 300 Normas. So I wanted to bring something with a little bit more distance. Well, I mean, we only shot 40 rounds. So
but does the match actually require a 300 Norma, or are they just bringing that because that's their work gun?
I mean, they are bringing it because it's their work gun.
Exactly. So why would
they don't have to buy ammo for it? But there were some 300 PRCs, but I don't know. I brought the 7 just because I could, because it was fun. So
I don't know how shooting a Magnum.
I mean, they're shooting out to 14, 15, 1600 meters. So I was just like, again, it's like 4 or 5 rounds a stage. Like it's not and sometimes we didn't even use my gun because it's a team match. On one of the stages, we clipped into a tripod, and because my brother-in-law were so similar in size, I didn't even pick my gun up. I just walked over to his and shot his off the tripod. So I didn't. So we brought a 6.5, and then we brought a 7 PRC so we could pick the rifle. We could match the round to the stage.
All right, that makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, but I mean, the guy that won it, I think, was shooting a 6.5 Creedmoor, or a 6.5x47, or a 25x40. I don't remember. The girl that won the 1800 meter shot did it with a 2560 Ackley.
25 to 60.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was it a 25-06 or 25-60?
25 to 60.
Oh,
60 Remington
260. Gotcha.
Because her dad's a wild card psycho, like so.
Yeah.
But
Look,
the gun shoots.
I shot it with a 6.5 Creed. Caliber choice is not what held me back.
Yeah. Not me either. Communication.
Yeah, the guy who Aaron brought me as a teammate held me back.
You know what? I at least supplied you a teammate. And if he would have just listened, we would have had his gun sighted in. Like,
hey, by 6th stage, we finally had it mostly figured out.
So, Scott, you've probably done this, right? You're shooting at 100 yards. You can't see impact. So you just go, hey, look, 400 yards. There's a bush. Send it. Okay, now you're 4 mils right, 8 mils left, whatever, right? Dial it in, come back to the 100 yards. You're within a little bit. He wouldn't freaking do that because he was like, I can't see it at 100. I'm not going to see it at 400. I'm like, we all have freaking measuring tapes. We can watch this. Like, are you kidding me? And it wouldn't click in his brain. So, like, I was like, screw it. Do your thing.
Do not understand what you just said. I can't see my impact at 100, so I'm definitely not going to be able to see it at
I don't know where it's shooting. How do I know? Dude, it's a 6 Creedmoor. Give it 3 mils at 400 yards and send it, and we should be close, right? Like, yeah.
Well, you definitely don't want to give it 3 mils.
Sorry, whatever it is, 2.1, I think. I'd have
with a 6 Creedmoor.
It'd be 1.8 or 1 or 2.
1.8.
I don't remember. It's been a while since I shot that gun.
Yeah, 1.8.
Oh.
Probably, unless it's really slow.
I have to take it
one with my 6.5 Creed.
I have to. It's sitting right there, and I have to. I got to take it out on Saturday because I'm shooting a center fire match next weekend. So I have to take my gun, the gun that he used at the match, which is the most accurate gun I've ever owned. I got to go take it out, and I finally put it back together. So I got to go take it out and zero it. So,
but either way, what I really enjoyed about that match was ROing. I had a lot of fun ROing.
It was fun.
Yeah, ROing is fun, man. I'll tell you, if anybody's listening wants to shoot matches, but is scared to for some reason, which you shouldn't be. You definitely shouldn't be scared. Just go do it. It's way easier than you think. Well, it's not easy. Don't get me wrong. You're not gonna. Your first match is not gonna be probably.
I mean, it's humble pie.
A bunch of targets.
It's pure humble pie, but
yes,
there's no other way to learn.
But it's great people. It's always great people. Everybody's willing to help. Like everything that you were nervous about has no foundation. Just go out and do it. But if you're too scared to actually go actually shoot, go an RO match, and at least then you get to see what goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And it's fun. RO's fun.
Well, it was fun. I learned a ton by watching people tackle the same stage. How they do it was actually very educational. I also got bored relatively quickly. Started giving people creative stage instructions, which I had a lot of fun with. The most fun was that one SEAL, the guy, Navy SEAL guys.
Yeah,
I think it was Team 6 guys. One of them was Team 6. I don't know. I had a blast with them. They could not figure out my accent. It was awesome.
They were fun, but Chris Bond should be there this year because
who's that?
He's one of the there's a sniper school that certifies all of the Army sniper schools. Mm-hmm. He's one of the 12 cadre of that sniper school.
Oh, okay.
So him and his partner shot the Nasty. I think they took 9th this year. Mm-hmm. They shot the Nasty, and he was supposed to be out there last year, but you know how the Army works with orders. Yeah. They had to be there for some inspection because some general was something. Yeah. So, but I think they're coming for sure this year. It should be really fun. And the other thing is Scott was talking about matches like this one in Montana is a charity match. Like you want to go shoot a match and learn what it's like, find the Guardian matches. Guardian is another charity match. Yeah. They pay like day 1 you shoot it, day 2 they do a zipper, best shooter, worst shooter, and they pair you up, and it's it allows you to learn and do a lot of different things. Guardians are really fun. A bunch of my friends shoot the Guardian Ilya in August. If you want to shoot it, I think you'll be in Israel, but in Utah, the Guardian is coming in August. And the guys I go with, the whole goal is to make the shooter laugh so hard that they can't shoot the stage. Like, that's our whole point. We're trying to make the shooter just die laughing, so he just times out.
Yeah.
So that's
doesn't
what we
bother
do.
me. I was blessed with complete lack of sense of humor. I'll be all right.
Well,
but either way,
Ilya.
our rowing was a fun, be extremely educational. So I'm looking forward to that. But doing 20 stages in one day is going to be interesting.
It's going to be rough. It's going to be mental drag.
Yeah. Hey, Ilya,
Yes, sir.
Steiner 1 to 10.
Yes.
What we haven't had a chance to talk about that scope really, besides a text message or two. And you said did you say you only got to see it at a show, or?
Yeah, I saw it at shop. They had it kind of in the corner. It was really weird. Like, I woke up, I'm real friendly with Steiner Burris guys. They go, yeah, I just pulled this out of the box. We know nothing about it. They just sent it to us from Germany. It's the M10. But it looked quite competent. I don't remember. I remember it had sort of weird reticle in it. And knowing Steiner in Germany, they were competing for some contract somewhere. Diffractive reticle, well-optimized optical system, good field of view. It looked like a very competent scope. I don't know what they were competing against. There was nothing really unusual about it, right? It didn't look very different compared to other high-end low-power variables. But I asked them how much it's going to cost. They didn't know. I asked them when it's going to be available. They didn't know. That was the only one they had seen. So, I don't know. It's called the M10XI, I think.
Gotcha.
Cover turrets.
So they have a 1 to 10 in the Ranger series. Is that only available in Europe?
Ranger is different. I think that was second focal plane. That was Ranger's Europe only series. It's not in US.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it. Like I think it was a front focal plane reticle, and nice bright diffractive illumination. That's all I remember offhand. 34mm tube. So M10XI, I think, is what it's called. I'm sure somebody already wrote something about it. Let's see. Yeah, Ranger is more of the Ranger is a hunting scope.
I'm looking at their website, and they don't have the field of view listed under technical data. It's weird. I'm looking at the range.
Field of view would be very similar to Razor Gen 3.
The 1 to 10?
Wasn't that? Yeah, it wasn't that general range.
Well, they all have the same field of view.
Yeah.
Well, apparent field of view.
Correct.
Razor 1, Gen 3 Razors.
Yeah.
So, Scott,
Yes,
if you
sir.
could only buy a 1 to 10 Gen 3 Razor or the AMG, which one are you going with?
Do I have a requirement to have a short optic?
No requirement. Budget doesn't matter. You get a pick. I'm going to give you can pick right or left hand, and you get the scope. Which one are you going to pick?
Generally speaking, for most people, that's tough for me to choose one, because there's a bunch of little nuances that
that's why we asked.
Clarify. I would say for 99.9% of customers, Gen 3. Now, to quantify that, there's the reason I say is there's not a whole lot of difference that most end users are going to see. I will say that the AMG does 1x slightly better than the Gen 3, but the Gen 3 does 1x fantastically, contrary to, some comments you might see where
let's not go into that, and my blood pressure is going to go up again.
Quite obviously,
you know what? I haven't heard anything negative about it. So,
well, it's the same negative comments you'll see about any 1x scope out there. If somebody's talking, if it's a good quality 1x scope where we know for a fact that the field is really flat on 1x, and you see somebody making a fishbowl comment, it's 100% diopter. It's just not adjusted properly. Well,
I only know a handful of people who have been downrange, and he's like, the best LPVO on the market right now is Gen 3 Razor. Yeah, so, and he's been downrange a lot and used all sorts of weapon platforms. And he was like, I think this is the best LPVO on the market currently. So,
yeah, I wouldn't argue that. The AMG was made for a specific purpose, right? Like it needed.
Yeah, they're putting something in front of it. They needed to shorten the profile.
A thermal and a laser all on the top rail,
right?
In a short barreled rifle, right? Cool. So that's where it came from. That along with a slight bit of sadomasochism.
Sadomasochism.
Yeah. Well, because we had just pulled our hair out doing the Gen 3 1 to 10, right?
So you were like, we can do better.
Yeah.
That's when the manager comes in and goes, congratulations, guys. It's the new year, so the bar raises. So now shorten it. What?
No. Luckily, engineers are too excited to do that to themselves. Nobody else has to do it to them.
That's true. What's a new problem? What's a problem we don't need to solve, but we can solve just because we want to, no matter how painful it is?
Yeah. So, but no, the AMG is not for like I said, if you don't have a length requirement, the AMG is not going to do anything the Gen 3 doesn't.
Yeah, that's good to know.
On the higher mags, I think the Gen 3's, has an edge on the AMG. I think on 1X, the AMG has a slight edge. But to Ia's point earlier, I think the AMG 1X is quite possibly the most impressive 1X on the market.
I believe
forever. I mean, it's extremely flat. It's.
Well, remember when I talked about it earlier, I specifically said as a battle sight, right?
Yep.
That's not the same as what's the best LPVO for you.
Right.
But as a battle sight. Battle sight means that you live and die by 1X and you die lap as necessary. There is this common myth out there. Everybody goes, oh, but we are setting them up with offset red dots. We don't care about 1X. It's all horseshit.
Yeah. Well, right. Why buy a 1X scope if you're doing that? Get a scope that doesn't go down to 1.
Get a 2 to 12 or a 2 to 10
right.
or
exactly.
Yeah.
If I've said it a million times, it's a 1X scope is first and foremost a 1X scope. Any magnification on top of it is icing on the cake, right? Like that is where the primary design intent goes, is in the 1X. So if you're not using the 1X on a 1X scope and you bought it for the high magnification, quite honestly, you bought the wrong scope. Unless you just like the way the scope looks on your gun, then you bought the right scope. If that's what your criteria was, which is perfectly acceptable. I bought plenty of things in my lifetime because it looked better, right? I mean, heck, a lot of us could say that about our marriages, quite honestly.
I know that's not why my wife married me.
Yeah, I was talking the other way around, but.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that's good though, but that's for the average person. the normal person. Where Scott's not the normal person. You're highly into it. What would you pick?
Well, what am I doing?
You're buying a scope.
You're shooting pigs because you can't shoot people. Okay, so we're shooting pigs.
Well, I mean, I'll say this: that there's not enough difference between the scopes, right?
Okay,
so
well, that's a great answer.
Something like price, and in which case, the Gen 3 is going to win.
Scott's not American first. Did you see that? He did not pick the AMG. Just kidding. No, I mean, price is a huge factor. So that's, price is a massive factor. So it's very interesting, right? So those are the kind of questions that, like, you're an expert. So asking you helped develop these. You've been in the game for a long time. So, like, when you go look, AMG is really awesome. And if you're a tier 1 operator, sure. But if you're just a normal human being, like the Gen 3, which is half the price, still has all of the same.
Well, and here's a good subject we can. I know Ilya's covered this, but I think it's a subject that really needs to be kind of beaten like a dead horse, or whatever.
Ilya's good at that, or a dry horse.
And we kind of started to touch on it earlier. Is when you with these shorter compact scopes, I think there's a misconception from the end user or from the consumer that when they're paying this extra money, that it's going to be better than the same magnification scope that's longer, when we're assuming all things equal as far as quality is put into it, right? And it's just not the case, right? So if you have, let's just use a 5-25, for example, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a $3,000 5-25 that is 15 or 16 inches long, and then a 10-inch 5-25 comes out, and it's $5,000, I can pretty much put a bunch of money on the table that the longer 5-25 is going to be a much more pleasing optical system to your eye, right? What you're paying for is the complexity, the design time, and everything that goes into making that thing that much shorter, and it's like, and it's not like the numbers are just made up. Like, it's a very complex thing to make these systems, that much shorter. Even the manufacturing becomes more difficult, the assembly becomes more difficult, the design and from the get-go is much more difficult. And that's what you're paying for, right? So if you don't need a very short scope, you're going to be better served. Now, I'm speaking in generalities here, right? And assuming all things are equal quality-wise, the input of quality is the same.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be better served with a longer scope, as far as if you're really looking at optical quality, right? It's just how it is. And I don't know, Ilya, if you want to add to that or disagree with me in any way.
No, I generally agree with you. You are correct. It's not 100% cut and dried because designs change a little bit. They're not all created equal, right? But in terms of general rule of thumb, you are correct. What I take a little bit of an issue with is the phrase, well, if you have a requirement. Most of us don't have a requirement, right?
Well, you have a requirement you built in your head of what you think.
Correct, I have to be the latest and greatest tactical Timney.
And that's a
wonderful requirement. That requirement keeps many companies in business.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. I actually retired the gear racing about 5 years ago. I stopped chasing. I just use what I like now, and I don't care anymore. But
so one of the very underappreciated aspects of putting together a rifle, whether it's a semi-auto or a precision gun, etc., is balance. And we tend to think of short rifle scopes only as, well, how far away from you is the clip-on going to be? I tend to think of it in terms of balance, and I tend to think of it as in terms of the whole system. So fairly commonly on smaller guns and ARs, etc., I will gravitate toward a shorter optic. Not that I have a requirement for it, but I want, when I've got a bunch of crap hanging on it in the front, not only do I want to be able to reach it, but I want it to balance in a particular way. And so for me, there is aside from the fact I'm an optics nerd and short optics are really cool, right? Aside from that, for me, there is certain value in how short they are. On the choice between low power variables, I generally agree with Scott. For most people, Gen 3 for $1,000 less is a more suitable optic than the AMG. Now, I have both, and I have the AMG on a gun with a 10-inch barrel, and I have the Gen 3 on a gun with a 16-inch barrel, right? And that's the difference. Because where I have enough real estate, now I can go with the Gen 3 pretty comfortable.
Now, I will say also to add to that, you're not the general consumer. When you buy or get a very short scope, you're in your head, you're expecting it to be
Correct. I know what I'm getting. Like I'm not.
You know what you're getting, exactly.
Correct. I'm not going to do an optical comparison of AMG on one side and a Schmidt & Bender short dot 1-8 on the other side, because that would be asinine.
Right.
But the YouTubers do it.
Please, let's not start new YouTubers.
So I recommend.
Multiple times people will roll up to me and go, "Oh, of all the optics reviewers, I think like you and CDOS, you guys, like you always do good work." I'm like, well, that was offensive.
The only optic reviewer I recommend is you. So
I
don't recommend anyone else anymore.
I may have my rough edges, but I actually understand optics, right?
No, yeah, and yeah.
But it's it's one of those where people will go and review everything they want. I just heard somebody look at the 5-25 and call it a medium power variable. I'm like, the fuck.
I mean, to be fair, I think LPVO is really the only strictly defined, acronym.
Yeah, but MPVO has been kind of finally getting defined, right?
Yeah.
So what would you consider a medium power variable, like a 6-24, a 3-18?
2-10, 2-12.
Anything slightly above 1 would.
Okay.
Basically, if you need 10-ish magnification, but you don't need 1, so you can get a scope that gives you roughly that magnification with a bigger objective, with a 40 millimeter or thereabouts objective, that's a medium power.
Yeah, like a 2-12. Yeah, okay.
2-12, 2-10. Yeah. There are some variants.
1.5 to 15, 1.5 to 12.
Yeah,
correct. All the general range.
Yeah. If it's got a low end, that's, I would say, below 2.5.
Yeah.
Kind of classifies as medium.
Pretty much. But the point I'm trying to make is that vast majority of reviewers out there are trying to make a video that people will click on. They're not trying to deliver information.
What?
And
are you saying we only market things that sell and clickbait?
Yeah, imagine that.
Imagine that.
We've all been in these meetings, right? Well, you will have 20 YouTubers at a table, and their primary purpose in life is to provide value to the company that sends them product. I get why.
That's been my exclusive experience with YouTubers.
Not exclusive. You know me.
Oh, that's true. That's true. Sorry. That is true. Sorry, you're not included in that group.
Yeah, right. And I get why they're doing it, and I don't really have a problem with what they're doing. It's you do you, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think it is a disservice to a consumer.
Oh, for sure. That being said, I mean, publications, all of that type, whether it's magazines or whatever, have been doing similar.
When I started writing for Guns and Ammo, I had one condition for them: they cannot edit me for content. They don't have to publish what I write. They can change commas around and punctuation, although I do write fairly cleanly. but they can't edit me for content. I will absolutely not accept that. If you don't like what I have to say, you don't have to publish it.
Right.
I'm not going to be an asshole about it. I'm not trying to sink anyone, but there's supposed to be certain ethics to journalism. Lord knows we've got none of it left in politics, but at least with optics, I'm trying to make it.
We don't have a ton in the news either. So good for you, Ilya.
I will say,
don't start on the news. With this whole Iran business, right? I'm watching the coverage. It's a good thing I have no hair left, or I would have pulled it all out.
Yeah, I will say
I'm running out of hair on my lower back.
The new title that Trump gave Gnome today is absolutely hilarious.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, he made her the. It sounds like a freaking a name of a comic book. What did he?
Western Shield or something like that.
Yeah, like
Shield of the Americas, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm out of the loop. Who is Gnome?
She was the secretary of DHS. She was prior to that. She was a governor of South Dakota.
Okay.
Yeah, so she finally got kicked out today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And so I'm not a big fan. I don't know a whole lot about Gnome. All I know is that when she got into DC, she started doing two things. She kept on going to the border with full makeup and everything. Brazilian blow-up hair, full makeup, in fatigues, holding an M4, doing photo ops like tactical Barbie.
Yeah.
Which I find
that's how you get on gun company boards after you're done screwing people in Congress.
She can be on OnlyFans board for all I care about. And then the other thing she started doing immediately is banging Corey Lewandowski. So, and they're both married to somebody else.
Yeah, and that's been known for a few years, actually.
Correct. Yeah. So
it's 2026.
She's a politician. They are slimy and unpleasant, and they do what they do. I don't have any problems with that. Yeah. But that was just brazen. I mean,
her new title. She was appointed as the special envoy for the Shield of Americas.
Well, that's perfect.
All of her time in Honduras.
So she's gonna fly around and do a lot of photo ops. She's great for that. So.
Yeah. So
she's got the whole body armor shield going on, so we're
good. I reached out to a lobbyist buddy of mine that's obviously lives in DC.
Is that the guy about that shop?
AUSA, I think.
AUSA, yeah, that's right.
Yep. And I said, so what's the inside scoop on why she got fired? And he said, he's like, well, it's a whole series of things. So the final straw was her saying Trump blessed off on this $200 million advertising campaign, which he did not, apparently.
That's right. Her taking pictures on the horse or wherever. Yeah, okay, I did see that.
She's, then he said, she's been with Corey Lewandowski for years now, which Trump was not happy about.
Look,
it all became she's a narcissist, so obviously Trump does not like other narcissists, right?
That's true.
And then the other, I think the icing on the cake was also how she handled the Minnesota stuff.
Yeah, it was pretty sure.
She came right out and just said, but it was not good, right?
Look, so with Corey Lewandowski, this is the part I don't get. Like, secret affairs are supposed to be secret.
Yeah, you don't make
everybody knows you're doing it wrong, right? Like if everybody knows you're staying in the same hotel room, like you're not hiding it real well.
You should at least get the one with the door in the middle.
Something. I wasn't there.
I walked into mine. She walked into hers just because there was a door in the middle. Like,
yeah, I'm not sure. No, there's that. There is Iran stuff. There is this the woke right. Tucker Carlson, right? Doing the best he can to protect radical Islam. I mean, that's just. I'm looking at it and going like, for the love of God, what happened to all of you people? Megyn Kelly went nuts all of a sudden.
Oh, she's gone nuts all of a sudden too.
And it was fairly rapid. She was okay until about 7 months ago, and then went nuts.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, she's really lost. I mean, the lack of critical thinking or just logic, period. I don't know. It's like I feel like that crew is maybe just doing it on purpose to make money.
So Tucker Carlson, that's a big part of it.
Candace Owens,
but Tucker
too,
Carlson
though.
seems to be
the
in a
death
political
of Charlie
project.
Kirk put Candace Owens into some crazy spiral.
Well, that's why I think she's playing a role. Like, I think
Well,
she's
Candace Owens, I think, is just out there for personal aggrandizement and clicks.
Yeah.
So, by the way, so I found this meme. I sent it to Aaron earlier. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah. Yes.
You're an Iranian terrorist waking up to your 72 virgins this morning.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That reminds me of Jeff Dunham, I think, the comedian, where he's got Ahmed and he's like, who are all these people? I don't know, Ahmed. Who do you think they are? Am I in heaven? There's a lot of ugly ass dudes out there if those are my 72 virgins. I miss Ahmed, the dead terrorist. That was always a good one.
Yeah, that was very funny.
Yeah.
Where he's like,
I better get to bed. I got to get up in a few hours. So.
All right. Well, have fun in Connecticut, gentlemen. Again, thank you for joining me. I do appreciate it.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's always fun. I always learn a ton.
Yeah. So I am traveling next week. It's my kid's spring break. 2 weeks from now, we'll do something else. If I have enough information, I'm going to do an LPVO rundown with AMG and primary arms and all that. That's probably going to be the next live stream.
Awesome.
I'll let you know when I schedule it. All right. Those of you who stuck around with us for this, 3 hours, thank you all.
Yeah.
And have a good night.
I think they're all sleeping. I think they just left their YouTube on and fell asleep. That's what I would.
Well, it dropped to 3 and it's back up to 6. So some crazy person.
Somebody's awake.
And the last
all right. If you are still awake and here, I'm about to end this thing. If there's anything you want us to cover, put it in the comment, and I'll make sure we do it next stream. Thank you and good night.
See you guys.
Take care.